Be too loose after you're on a diet feels great.
Yeah, I know. But what do you do about ugly? See, that's the thing.
Ugly?
You can't lose ugly. You can't.
We're up.
You can only lose weight.
Well, that's what I always said about Hillary, you know. I was so opposed to Hillary Clinton.
You can diet all you want. You're still ugly.
That's a good saying on a T-shirt. You can lose weight, but you can't lose ugly.
You can't lose ugly.
What a great
I
T-shirt.
didn't mean to say that
You
out
know,
loud.
My daughter got me a Biden shirt. I haven't worn it yet.
A fight T-shirt?
Yes, it's a picture of him sniffing Kamala's hair, and it says something like the sniffer picker upper.
I was thinking about getting a T-shirt making machine just because I thought I had good savings. And my one neighbor said you should get a dotted line up here. Said I've had it up to here on midgets. With midgets. I think that's
Or if you can read this, you're too close.
we're up. With audio too.
The Girl Scout cookies you love meet Cool Mint and world famous soft serve.
You know the problem with Girl Scout cookies for real, man? They get smaller and more expensive every year. They're to the point now you get like 3 cookies. And I don't think the girls get any of the money.
They know the truth does.
Yeah, but like, how much do you think they get?
Not much.
If a box is like, what, $18, how much do they get from a box?
I'll bet you it's 50-50 between national.
No way. I bet it's like those bubblegum machines where they say a portion of the proceeds, like 1 penny out of every $1 million.
Oh, like Boy Scouts and their popcorn?
No, I was going to say that. Let's say you have $1, right? Probably 50 cents goes to the national, 50 cents goes to the state chapter, and then the state distributes it among the chapters in Colorado.
50 cents?
I bet whoever makes the cookies makes more than anybody on Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. It's a fucking scam. I think a lot of people would just soon give them money.
Hey, Dan, next Wednesday, you want to go to Top Golf with us?
Next Wednesday?
Yes, after the show.
Yeah, I could go with Top Golf.
All right. Tom?
Let's book it.
I don't think I can make it.
You should do it on half
Wait a
price
second.
Tuesday.
You're the best golfer of the 4 of us.
Yeah, but he just had surgery yesterday.
Oh, how's your eye feeling?
No, I didn't do it.
Oh, you had the block yesterday, right? Did you find out what they injected in you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But actually, everything's clear.
Yeah, good.
Heroin.
Is the trouble?
Hey, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, and I welcome you to the show. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. RealCBDThatWorks.com. 30% off if you use Tom in the promo code RealCBDThatWorks.com. Panacea Life Sciences in Golden. They are nationwide, of course, in distribution. They happen to be right here in Colorado. And, by the way, they have kiosks at the airport. You might want to look them up when you're there. They're soon to be in Circle K's. And, of course, online at RealCBDThatWorks.com. Tom in the promo code for 30% off. It helps with anxiety, pain, and inflammation. We've had so many testimonials of people who called and loved it. So, welcome. One thing we did hear that the non-THC, one guy said it did trigger a test and showed a little THC. But listen, I'm not into that one way or the other, okay? They have non-THC, they have THC, and that's just up to you separately. It's a wonderful product, realcbdthatworks.com. Now, let's talk about DirecTV. Let's talk about a watch repair company. Let's talk about Elevate Medical, which is a medical service, or anything on your mind. You know what I love about this show? What I love is not only do we help with immediate problems at hand, but the most important thing is that we lay out what to do and what not to do for others with similar problems. Now, I have to admit, it's been a long time since we've heard of a problem with DirecTV.
The last one was an amazing issue. Probably the craziest one we've ever had on DirecTV.
What was that, Mark?
This guy showed up at a blind woman's house. And when I say blind, I'm not talking legally blind. I mean blind. Had her sign on the dots, and sure enough, they came out and installed it. DirecTV got wind of it thanks to us, and they got her out of the contract, made her whole.
But wasn't that person an independent salesperson?
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. So DirecTV used to be really terrible when it came to actually, anyway, it's just the way it is. It used to be like a terrible company when it came to anything. In fact, years ago, the BBB had to put up have a separate division just for handling DirecTV complaints. But I have to tell you, I've not heard many complaints at all about it.
That's because almost no one uses them anymore.
Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, cord cutters, and then AT&T bought them. I think it's one of the worst things AT&T could have done, but regardless, it's just kind of a dinosaur, man.
Okay, so Dick, what's going on?
Cut the cord with DirecTV back in February.
You cut the cord. You mean you cut the dish? Yeah. Okay. So what happened? You had a yearly contract, monthly. How did it work? I'm not sure. Can you tell us?
It was a yearly contract, which expired, and I did not.
You did not renew.
Cut the cord.
Is it that you did not renew, or you literally canceled?
Canceled.
And how do they handle cancellations? Do they wait till the end of the period?
No. I was already beyond. I was on a month-to-month at that point.
Cancel DirecTV on a month-to-month.
Right.
And when did you cancel it?
Back in February.
And it was supposed to take effect when?
Immediately.
Well, so it goes to the end of the billing period. Did you do it in the middle of February?
Yes.
So in other words, you weren't to come March you were done. So you were done at the end of February.
Correct.
Okay.
Did you send the equipment back?
Yes. All
right. So what's the issue right now then? Let's get right to it. What's the issue?
Sure. The issue is I ended up with a credit balance.
Why would you have a credit balance? I don't understand that.
Well, because CenturyLink at that time was linked with DirecTV.
Oh, I get it.
And CenturyLink charged me even though the service had been canceled.
All right.
So DirecTV.
So this was for both DirecTV and CenturyLink together?
Yes.
Okay, so you had how much of a credit?
$148.71.
178.
I have a
148.
yeah.
Or 148. So what happened?
I have a statement as of the end of.
Yeah. So where does it stand right now, sir?
So, well, I called them. They said they would send me a check. They did not send me a check.
All right, so is that what you're calling about right now, Dick? You don't have the money. Is that it? Because if that's it, we can try to light a fire. So that's it. So did you call back and say, where's my money? I mean, did they talk to you at all?
Yes, they sent me a credit card, supposedly with a balance of $148.71.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, by the time I got the credit card on April 5th, there had already been charges. So the balance on the credit card...
Wait a minute. Who had charged on the card?
We don't know. Google.
What? So you got a credit card.
Someone swiped his number.
How the hell did that happen?
Probably works for DirecTV.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that sucks, man. This should be a nice phone call. If it showed up with money already off of it.
Now, it's pretty easy to prove that those charges came before you got it, right?
Yes.
And how much was taken off it already?
All but $1.11.
Well, you should be grateful.
So it's already been charged about $147 already.
Correct.
Okay, listen, this should be easy to take care of. Hey, Deputy Doug, you want to call on it?
Sure.
Hey, Dick, it seems to me that you should have been able to take care of this in a phone call. Why can't you take care of it? Tell me what's going on.
Because the MasterCharge credit card says that I have to fill out a form.
Well, okay.
Which I did.
Okay, and then what? Yeah.
I mailed it.
And?
They said it would take 45 days, so I waited the 45 days and called them last week, and they said they never got the form.
Oh, man, this sucks.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, trying to dispute one of these prepaid cards is just a nightmare.
This so sucks.
Yes, sir.
You know what? This world of technology, my God, it's so hard. The worst thing is trying to dispute when you can't talk to somebody to explain, like extraordinary details, where you can't explain it. You have to fill out a form, and not all of the forms or check boxes work.
Did he get something from MasterCard to show where and when the 147 charges were made?
It's not 147 charges. It's $147.
He said it was on Google.
You have a record of those charges, right?
Yes.
Now, let me get this. Those charges show a date associated with them, right?
April 2nd through
and
April 4th.
And do you have proof of when you got the card?
I tried to activate it on the the 7th of April.
Okay. And they were made from April 4th to the 7th, the charges.
April 2nd.
Well, it doesn't matter.
To the 4th.
Okay, to the 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing, man. You at least you have good records. I mean, I don't see how you can't get your money. You know what I would do anyway? I would go directly to CenturyLink or to them and just say, give me my frickin' money. But let's figure it out. Hold on. Deputy Doc's going to talk to you off the air. And, folks, that's how we do it. This frustrating problem shouldn't be so frustrating.
You know, speaking of Doc real quick, he was going to call on that safety deposit box.
It's a safe deposit box. That's a joke we have. It is a safe deposit.
It is, but what happened, Doc? Because you called back, and for everybody listening, this guy goes to get into his Bank of the West safe deposit box, and the branch is closed. He calls another branch, and they say, too bad, so sad. You called up the first time.
Yeah, this
they
bothers
said he just sets an appointment.
So really...
I called up twice.
What happened the second?
They said exactly the same thing. After the first time, I spoke to Glenn.
Then get on a three-way call.
Wait, I'm going to. I just tried to call Glenn. I spoke to Glenn, and I told him what they said. He called me back, and said, no, they won't do it. So I called Bank of the West back a second time, and they said all he has to do is call them up, make an appointment, and the bank manager will let him into his safety deposit box. So I'm going to call Glenn now, get on a three-way, and find out what's going on.
Okay,
I will do that right now.
I just don't understand it. Why people getting jerked around? Don't get jerked around. Give us a call, 303-713-TALK.
I just wanted to be here for the follow-up with Jack, because that's who I took care of.
I'm dying to see what Bank of the West. I wonder if they think you're trying to go into that branch, Doc.
He is.
No.
You make it clear.
Oh, you mean that branch?
Yes,
Meaning the
I was
forward
very
branch.
clear about that.
I don't know. He's the same guy, though, that couldn't find any calendar that didn't start in April.
No, July.
Hey, if you're buying granite or quartzite or marble or any slab stone for your countertops, let me direct you to Granite Liquidators, 5075 Tabor Street in Wheat Ridge. GraniteLiquidators.com. That's where you buy your granite at wholesale. They sell at builders' prices, wholesale prices to the public. You get it for the same exact price as a contractor. So go there or send your contractor and pick your own granite, marble, quartz, or whatever you need, and you pick it from the whole slab. So you can say, hey, honey, I'd like this part for the kitchen and this part for the bath, or maybe this is our shower, or this is our backsplash. Whatever you need, you buy there. Here's the good part. When you find it, you like it, you can decorate around it, right? So shop for stone first. They put your name on it and store it there for you until you're ready for it. GraniteLiquidators.com. You have a website. That website is performing either very well or maybe in between or not at all, but you don't know if it could be doing better no matter what it's doing. Get a free analysis right now by going to getfoundfast.com. That's a website of professionals who do free analysis of your website. You don't have to hire him. You don't have to hire any of their services. There's no obligation, but you'll get valuable information. Getfoundfast.com.
If you've ever sold a home, you know it's a hassle. From the prep work to the open houses, not to mention the surprise showings. What if I told you there was a stress-free way to buy and sell a home? Well, go to Orchard.com. Their Move First service helps you buy, then list your old home once you're all moved out. That means you'll never have to deal with showings, open houses, double moves, or double mortgages. And to make sure you get the best possible price, Orchard can also handle making repairs or updates, so your home is list ready. Joe,
it's easy to throw stuff at you because we're looking at you all the time. Do you want this, or do you want me to send it to Scott or Marty, the DirecTV one?
I can take it.
What information do you want me to get to you?
Just his phone number.
And that's it?
Yeah, I'll speak to him. So this guy, I just called this number, Glenn, and somebody named Lance answered. Just said there's nobody there named Glenn.
Let me look through my records. That was a cold call?
Yeah.
Shoot. I wonder if I just mistyped it or something. Shit. Let me look my records to see if he emailed us, but if not, we'll just have to put the word out for him to call.
That'll be fine.
Vanessa and something she didn't answer.
Straight to voicemail. I'll try her again. I tried her like 2 times.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks.
I tried.
Tell him you want to become a banker.
I've always wanted to become a banker. Banker. Gotta go like that. Banker.
Delivered yesterday. Interesting.
The United States Olympic and Paralympic Museum, now open in downtown Colorado Springs. Buy tickets, book an event, or get more information.
Looks like Bibby's gone. Took a long time, 16 years. Who? Bibby.
I have no idea what.
Yeah, who's that?
He's only the head of Israel, the president.
Oh, no, they don't really know that for sure, though. On something.
I think he's out. He's dodged a few bullets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and his wife.
He's the Israeli Donald Trump sometimes.
Kind of, yeah.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily.
Sometimes those articles are so hard to find out. Like Drudge. Drudge used to be fairly right, to the right. They didn't have one thing on Fauci.
Really?
Yeah, not one thing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like you go to any, like say you go to Breitbart, Fauci, it's White House trying to get him out, emails where Drudge never had anything on it. Almost like a CNN deal.
I have EPI. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts.
Another sunny day.
Fauci is turning out to be a big fucking phony.
Yes, I agree. That's why I told you.
Is he phony or just incompetent?
No, he's a fucking phony. He writes an email about how masks don't do any good whatsoever. They fucking don't do anything.
Well, it's for the people who are sick. But
he said more than that. He said they don't filter anything.
Well, he said, and then the store mask, yeah.
Hi, Tom Martino,
your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. So, Gary, what's happening in your life today, Gary?
Hello from Rio Rancho, New Mexico. I want to tell you guys before I start, the way I found out about your show and your service was through the Denver attorney's fraud line office. They referred me to you.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, yeah. So anyway, I was ripped off along with hundreds, if not more, people of valuable property by a fraudulent website. And that website is so slick that everybody I've shown it to says they would have fallen for it as well.
What is it? What kind of a website?
It's a watch battery replacement online service. And the reason that it appealed to me is I have a high-end watch that has a very rare quartz thin movement, and I've had trouble replacing the battery before.
And what do they offer to do in a nutshell? Like you send it to them and then they change the battery?
Right. They send you a padded box that is supposedly insured, and they've got, thousands of testimonials online, all of which are verified. Now I'd like to know verified by who.
You send watch, and then what happens?
They send you a box that's prepaid. You pay $34 by credit card or whatever means, And
23. Did you say $23?
$34.
34. I'm sorry.
That includes return postage and insurance and the new battery. And they say they're going to polish up your watch and have it back to you in no less than 3 to 8 days. So I sent them a $1,200 watch back in the beginning of April. The watch was received at an address in Denver. They list 2 different addresses in Denver.
Are they actual addresses? Did you Google them?
Well, they're actual addresses, and I sent all that pertinent information to your intake person in an email yesterday.
Okay, Suze, do we have the email?
Yes, you do. Anyway, the watch never comes back.
Where did you give us the email? I want to look at it.
I sent it to troubleshooter.com.
Good. Okay, help.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the website is called www.watchnome.com. Gnome, G-N-O-M-E, like the little Travelocity garden gnome. That's their logo, in fact.
Okay, so give it to me again. The watch. What is it?
www.watchnome.com.
Okay.
If you go to the website, you'll see how slick it is. But anyway, the watch never comes back to you. You call them, nobody answers. It goes straight to voicemail. You send email to their supposed customer service department at workshop@watchnome.com.
Do you think they're set up? Tell me this. Do you really believe they're set up just to steal watches?
Yes.
Really?
I do, because after my watch never returned and there was no communication coming back from the company, I went online and then I did my due diligence, unfortunately, at the Better Business Bureau, at another site that I listed to you in the email, and there are hundreds of people suffering the same loss going back about 2 years.
I'm wondering why the Attorney General or DA or something hasn't caught wind of this.
Well, me too, because I called American Express and they said, oh, we're glad to refund your $34. I said, that's not the issue. Why are you guys still processing financial transactions for a company that's obviously fraudulent?
Now, they have a place where you can look at reviews, and they have all 5-star reviews.
Well, that's their reviews, and that's on their website. It says verified, but the question is verified by whom?
You're right. We can't trace those anywhere.
And pardon me, Tom? The other thing is I'm a little confused by getting the DA involved. In Gary's email, it said the Denver DA recommended us for him.
No, the lawyer line. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. I'm wondering, isn't it weird? Every single review is 5 stars. That should tell you something right there.
What is it again? Watch Gnomes?
Watchnome.com.
I have an S.
G-N-O-M-E.
Yeah.
What's the address in Denver that he mailed it to?
1255 North Ogden.
What's
Suite
there?
102.
It's
1255 North Ogden.
North Ogden.
Yeah, and it's by proxy too, man. So it's hidden. We can't find any ownership of that website.
So where's Ogden Street? 1255. And what suite is it?
102.
I'm wondering if that's a mail drop.
Probably is. I'm guessing at this point it is.
Just Google Earth and see what it is.
Yeah.
I checked.
Looks like apartments or townhomes.
Okay. What else?
Might be an apartment.
You said there were 2 addresses. What's the second address?
American Express has their address, and this is where they're processing the financial transactions from, at 2110 South Logan.
Here in Denver?
Yeah.
Yes, in Denver.
I wonder, so there's 2 addresses. I wonder what's going on with them, if anyone else.
And that's a residential address as well.
Has anyone talked to them at all? I like anybody that you came in contact with.
No, just the reviews on the Better Business Bureau website, which say to steer clear of them. It's all the same experience. Anybody who calls or emails.
That's a FedEx pack and ship.
Oh, really? So we have a FedEx pack and ship, and then we have an apartment place. This is a crime if this is really happening. I mean, they're probably fencing the watches. How long ago did you send it?
I sent the watch in April, and they say it's going to come back in 3 to 8 days. Well, obviously, it's been more than 6 weeks.
We need to send a deputy over to that one street address with a camera. Really, the 1255 Ogden.
You know, you can imagine that if they're ripping off, say, even $21,000 watches a month, it's a hell of a business. You know, we're talking about $1 million a year scam.
No, so, I mean, I think Suite 102 Denver. Hold on. So the one on Ogden Street is Suite 102. Okay, Denver. And then 21. Okay, we got to check this out, man. This is crazy. You called the right place, though, because we'll get to the bottom of it. I don't know what we can do about it, but, man, this is important. We might be able to catch the guy or maybe scare the hell out of them. I don't know. You know, lately there's so much crime going on. It boggles the mind. It just all the consumer fraud going on. And did you know that, by the way, a multi-state, multi-person investigation where people stole retail and sold online? Did anyone find it odd that in the news story, in every news story I heard, they referenced East European immigrants? Did you notice that in that story the other day? They had a multi-million-dollar. They said they recovered like $5 million in stolen stuff and cash, and they arrested a bunch of people. But why did they mention Eastern European immigrants? Isn't that weird? I mean, you don't normally hear the reference to ethnicity or countries like that. And this was done in every news release. So anyway, I'm wondering if this is some kind of, offshore kind of scam, and they're just using mail drops here, or mules. We've heard about how people use mules who set up an address and get paid, and all they do is straightforward. They get your watch and forward it out of the country. Who knows? But a $1,200 watch is a $1,200 watch. I mean, let's face it, no one's going to send a watch in for batteries unless it's a more expensive watch. I mean, if it's a cheap watch, you're not going to send it away for...
Well, if you check out the website, I think you'll agree that it's pretty slick, and you wouldn't have any qualms about sending your watch in. They say they specialize in all brands, but especially the high-end ones. And then when you couple that with the quality of the website, what bothers me more than the scam itself, because I know I'm never going to get my watch back, is the fact that Google, Amazon, all the big players, they list this company at or near the top when you put in watch battery.
Do you understand that all of these services...
Well, what do you mean by Amazon?
They have a listing on Amazon for...
Well, that might be a way to figure out who these people are.
But when you try to contact Amazon, it's impossible.
No. Listen, Amazon, I'll bet you they're on Facebook. They're everywhere. The only thing they would have... The only way to get them removed is try to get them to talk about anti-vaccination or something. Then they would be removed. But forget that they're ripping off people for millions. But God forbid if they say something about climate change or something about vaccinations that doesn't fit the narrative. But let's see what we can do about this. Let's see what we can do about this guy. I want to know what that one address is. We know one of them is a mail drop, but I wonder, that other one looks like an apartment house. I don't know if they'd be stupid enough to put their apartment number down, if that's an apartment house in number 102. If anybody is in the vicinity of 1255 Ogden Street, maybe you can let us know. 1255 Ogden Street, and it's Suite 102. Let us know what that building is. And, of course, it goes without saying, we don't want you guys to do anything. We just want to know. So we're gonna look at it. We need to get your information for a follow-up. So hold on. Suze, make sure you get his information so we can follow this up. I'm Tom Martino coming up.
Suze, make sure we have his information so we can follow up those addresses.
That might be a good live one, Mark. It's not too far away.
There's no one there.
How do you know that? If it actually went there, it's a drop.
5 lunches.
No. What I'm saying, if
Can I have the
if that's the
spots,
address?
please?
You mean where he should watch?
Yeah. I can't hear him. I can't hear him. I can't hear you. Help me out here. Can you speak to the speaker?
Simply Floors. 30.
Simply a mile high. I wonder why you can't hear at it. Maybe the...
Okay, I guess it's not such a big deal, but is there a problem with talking over the speakers?
And expect
Okay, good.
Dr. Fatfinger had left his mic on.
Oh.
How about Simply Floors?
I got it. No, I got it.
Okay, Simply Floors 30.
Got it. I know I got it.
Mile High Estate 60. Thank you.
And 60,000 parts, or to getting involved in their local communities. When it comes to serving you, Napa's motor never quits. That's Napa know-how.
You've heard me talk about MileHighEstatePlanning.com a lot. That's Blake Harris. And he's changed the name to Blake Harris Law to better facilitate, his multi-state operations so he can help you and your relatives around the country. BlakeHarrisLaw.com. More importantly, he has a number where you can call and ask questions and not be charged. And when you call, he'll charge you only when he actually implements a plan for you, whether it be a will, trust, maybe a beneficiary deed, whatever you need done, he can do. It's all about protecting yourself and your assets while you're alive, and after you pass, protecting your heirs. That's what it's all about. Please download the digital magazine where he did a complete article about the 10 common mistakes in estate planning. It'll give you a great guide for estate planning. Download the magazine or see his video at 303consumer.com. Also, his website, BlakeHarrisLaw.com, and his number, 833-ASK-BLAKE. When it comes to floor coverings, all of the major suppliers and warehouses and big boxes and dealers all have the same stuff. I mean, really, the big factories supply everyone with everything. So what you're looking for are better prices and better people. It really boils down to that. Some people are good, but the prices are bad. Some places the prices are good, but the people are bad. But at Simply Floors, Inc., you get everything. Wonderful people, wonderful installers, great warranties, and great prices. Simply Floors, Inc. That's INC. Make your own appointment. SimplyFloorsInc.com.
What does perfect attention mean?
Ask a simple question.
Everything she is the first woman of color vice president.
Ask everyone you know what matters to them.
Let's be clear. This isn't about fraud.
Work the angles.
Tonight here on MSNBC, we've got a special coming.
Question authority.
What specifically are you going to do?
Be tough on the answers.
It's just not true.
Favor facts over conspiracies.
What should American citizens know?
And trust standards over hearsay. At MSNBC, this is what we do, and this is who we are.
Who cost you less? You've just got to refinance to one of these historically low mortgage rates. Hey, it's Ross Kaminsky from my friends at American Climate. Reminding you there's never been a better time to get...
I think I would do a little more checking to send a $1,200 one.
Yeah, I would too.
I don't think the website's that spectacular. Do you?
No, but I would insure it myself.
There you go.
It only costs a couple of bucks.
But again, if it went there, if that's the address that it went there,
yeah,
it's got to be a drop.
Right. I think sending someone to take a picture of it.
It's an apartment. They say it's an apartment.
Jesus Christ, you would think. I'm just trying to find a place on this stupid fucking website. These websites suck. Some websites, they have such terrible interfaces. Have you ever noticed that?
You know what? This apartment place might be a secure thing that you can't get in.
What's that?
Oh, you have a picture of it?
Well, this is the apartment right there.
Where?
Oh. At Ogden Street there. It might be one of those that you got to have a password to get in there or whatever and stuff. So you got to hang around and. It's not too far away though.
I'll bet you it's one of those. Just we're going to pay you to forward it because we can't.
You got, but like I said, they could be held.
Yeah, they could be.
Thanks. Take them small claims court if they can find the guy.
Well, that one watch, yeah, but if it's a multi,
right, but
if it's conspiracy.
Oh, Jock, this lady called up and I gave me your number. It was Margaret?
Yeah, I just got him. That was from weeks ago.
Okay.
I remember that.
Regaining control of your drinking doesn't have to mean uncomfortable group settings or the unrealistic expectation of sobriety. Meet Life Back, a physician-approved, completely private, app-based program designed for those who want to cut back on drinking without having to quit.
I can't imagine
Using a combination
that
of
you can
medication, studies to reduce the urge to overdrink and 92%
reduce the urge to overdrink.
support tools.
It's pretty big. It hasn't dropped off as far as how much they advertise.
Your Life Back plan is managed on our mobile app from
Have you noticed that Title Lock is not advertising anymore? I haven't heard a commercial for them in ages.
No,
Have you heard a commercial for Title Lock in ages?
stronger relationships, and save money while still enjoying moderate drinking. Visit lifebac.com. That's lifebac.com. Get your life.
Hey, Tom, see if you can take Jack on a follow-up. It'll be interesting with that medical place.
Denver's talk station. Online at khout.com.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Okay, so we want to do what we can do for your problems, questions, complaints, so make sure you give us a call, and we'll get right to you. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, is offering free market valuations of your home for the asking. Now, of course, he does full real estate services like helping you buy a home with a buying team or selling your home. But with no obligation, you can get a market analysis of your home. That's what your home will go for on the market based on his vast experience. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. That's free with no obligation. If you're wondering, way better than Zillow and all the rest, really, because it's based on actual experience. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622. Now, Deputy Doc, do you have a follow-up on this? You have Jack.
We do. Jack is on the phone.
Yeah, let's talk to him. Jack, first of all, the original problem with Elevate, if we can get to it, let's talk about the original problem. And he called in, and it was about far infrared therapy for neuropathy, I believe. Yeah. And the problem was he didn't do it anymore. He didn't want to do it anymore. I don't blame him, actually. I don't think that stuff works at all. And so tell me the problem.
He wasn't getting his, they wouldn't give him his refund, and I looked at the contract, and it was specifically spelled out that he would be reimbursed for the sessions not used minus a 20% cancellation charge.
And he didn't get it.
And he didn't get it. So I called him up and tell him what happened, Jack.
Yeah, I was looking for $4,790 and some change. And yesterday late, email came through from Albert with Elevate Medical, and they've offered me $445.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You had how many unused treatments?
There were 12 treatments, and I'd used 4 of them.
Okay, so he was supposed to be credited.
Them left, and plus one, I was supposed to get a shot in both legs, a stem shot or something in both legs, and they only did the one leg. So that right there is $2,000. And
so if you took all the unused services, what would it amount to?
$4,790.
For the unused services. Now you take the unused services, and then what you do is you take 20% off of that, which would have been $800 approximately.
So about $3,200. Right. You got to send us the math.
It would have been $3,800, right? Oh, go ahead.
They did $3,000, $3,010 worth of work. So I would have 20% of that. So $620, $640, whatever.
No, it's 20% of the balance.
Of the unused.
Of the unused. It's 20% of what was unused. If you had 4,000 unused, there would be an $800 credit, and you'd get the rest. That's what it would come down to.
$47.90.
Yeah, I'm not going to do math on the air right now. So listen, I don't understand how they believe 400. Did they do any math for you? Did they show you a breakdown?
They just showed me their invoice sheet and everything else. No.
Well,
no
okay.
breakdown.
Now, how did you come up with the unused price? How did you come up with it?
I took their price sheet.
Okay, good.
Broke out what I didn't use and gave.
Doc, I think we need to call him back. You know, here's what I find really weird. First of all, you have a scam clinic doing scam therapy, and then instead of just giving the money back and going quietly into the night, they want to make an issue, so we have to expose their scam. And it just makes it harder for them at Elevate Medical. And I call it a scam because, in my opinion, it's a scam. Far infrared therapy, it has minor value. And the injections, I have no idea what they're injecting you with. Are these actual MDs?
I do not know, Tom.
I'll venture to say they're probably not. I just have a feeling they're not, but I'd like to know. Elevate Medical. Well, I'd like to look up that clinic. We're going to give them a call back, Deputy Doc.
Absolutely. They told me they would give them a refund. I assumed they would be...
I would like them to do the math on how they figured out he gets $400 back.
Yeah, tell them to send a statement.
I will. I will do that.
These guys, these medical clinics that hold on to that almighty dollar for those scam treatments, what does it tell you? But we'll do free advertising for them. Get your scam treatment at Elevate Medical. And I'd like to know if they're MDs. Look them up if we can. I'd like to know what
I'll check it out right now.
Anyone, I want to know anyone at all who's had far infrared therapy done. Anyone who's...
What is it? Help me.
It's red light. It's
and
infrared
they put it
light.
On your foot or wherever?
Now, far infrared... They put it on the affected areas. It's supposed to penetrate below the skin and get into the vessels and basically dilate them or help with blood flow.
If it worked, you would know almost instantly then, right?
Well, not really, because it would take a while to work. But, Mark...
I think Dr. Mike was looking into doing that, is why I'm asking. And I'm wondering if that's something we'd ever advertise. I know nothing about it.
Now, here's what I'm saying. There are therapies like far infrared therapy that technically what they say is true, meaning that you can actually affect an area by exposing it to infrared light, because the warmth and the light will increase blood flow. But then to expound on that and say, therefore, exposing a bigger area with more light will help with neuropathy is a giant leap. It reminds me of a scam years ago. A guy had a radar blocker. Rocky Mountain Radar. Do you remember that? It was a radar, and we took it out on a test track with state police and proved it did not work. He advertised all over the country.
It was like a bra on the front.
No, not a bra.
Radar.
All it was is a little detector on the dash that he claimed blocked radar, and they could not get a speed on you. He was ripping so many people off, but guess what? No one went against him because they thought the people getting ripped off, screw them. They're trying to sidestep law enforcement. So no one was sympathetic to the victims except me. They were being ripped off. Now the reason I bring this up is technically this thing, if you did radar right up against it, like an inch away or a half an inch away, it reflected that radar and gave a different reading. In other words, it kind of made it weird. But he expounded on that and said, therefore, it'll block radar a quarter mile down the road. And it didn't. It didn't even block it a foot away. But they take a little tiny truth and then exaggerate it into a big giant lie. And that's what I suspect Elevate Medical is doing. But it'll cost them far more than $400 if that's what they want. They want to, or whatever they owe this guy. They want to just latch on to that money. It's probably a bunch of quacks over there.
They're chiropractors and then one MD.
One MD and chiropractors, okay. And here's the deal. I don't want to disparage chiropractors, but unfortunately, a lot of them don't want to be chiropractors. And they're in constant search of things that they can do so they don't have to be chiropractors, so they can make more money. Unfortunately, more coming up.
Tell your smart device to play 630 KO on
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
I knew it. One MD, really?
Well, but in there they say BIOS coming. You can't even read her bio.
2,000 devices. Now.
She looks like she's been run through the ringer.
Is sponsored by now.
Very sexist.
Overall, we are looking at a good shape.
What'd you say that about ugly? You can't
lose ugly.
No, but you could get a nose job, or you could get a skin tuck, boob job, boob reduction, whatever it is. You can change ugly.
I've never seen anyone truly ugly become not ugly through plastic enhancement.
Well, most people that are that ugly are never going to try
I've
to
seen
change
someone very attractive who became more attractive. No, seriously. They might have fixed their nose, or they might have fixed their boobs. I hate big boobs. I hate big boobs. But, there are times they do jobs like that for firmness or different shapes.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
No, but you take someone that's good looking, you can make them a little more good looking.
Sometimes you make them actually ruin them, too.
There's someone that died.
So, what is a whole house fan? Basically, it's a fan that goes into your attic. It's not an attic fan. An attic fan expels hot air from the attic. This is a whole house fan, which uses your top ceiling to draw air through your house out the attic and out into the atmosphere. What it does is it keeps your house cooler. In a nutshell, QCColorado.com has saved me up to 90% on my air conditioning bills. It can save you too. Plus cool, comfortable air. You use it in the morning, you use it in the evening. You can let it run all night long, and it'll be wonderful. You can run it in the morning, or you can leave your air off all day. When you get home from work, turn on that, and it'll cool down your house in no time. That's why your air conditioner works less. You can read about it at 303consumer.com. That's the digital, you can get a digital magazine there, 303consumer.com, and read about their technology in that magazine. Or you can go to QCColorado.com or just call them for an appointment. It's less than 2 hours to install, remote controlled, no wiring in the walls, 303-800-3419. I love it, 303-800-3419. All right, you know what else I love? I love when somebody makes good. Mitch Floria at the Art of Granite came here with $300 in his pocket and wanted to do the granite and stone business, and that's what he's doing. So here's what you do. You call him. He is so proud of his value, he'll give you prices on the phone for your countertops. Why can he do that? Well, he charges wholesale for all material, or you can buy the material anywhere on his wholesale account, or you can get a wholesale, like, for example, at Granite Liquidators. But here's what Mitch does at the Art of Granite. He fabricates and installs it at great value. He tears out and hauls away free and does the bathroom free when you do the kitchen. Get your price on the phone. 303-386-5919. TheArtofGranite.com.
Did you read these BBB reviews on Watchnome?
Yeah, the terrible. Well, I've seen a bunch of those terrible. Right on their website.
No, I mean on BBB. They're pretty much straightforward. Every single one of them. They charge them $34. They send a box out to you to put your watch in. Then you send your watch back, postage paid. You never see your watch again. Every one is the exact fucking same. And then no response.
But if that address goes to that place, it's got to be a drop place. That apartment, right? If it's getting delivered there,
it's got to be. So what we would have to do, I mean, I can't imagine they're fucking dumb enough to be sitting there in that apartment.
I'll bet you it's an old dude that he's getting paid for doing it. I don't know.
Just a total stooge. Right. You really think a stooge wouldn't realize he's getting, no.
If you live in Bonnie, I'm gonna, this better be a good fund. Well, it has to be. 18 years older, they receive at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. Final report. Our chance at $1 billion each week from now until July 7th. Well, he was vaccinated, the more chances you'll have to win.
Yeah, but he could be the only kid with a brain, and 40 of them have no brain. And they would be
you're right. Hold on. What is this about? What is E? Excellent. Okay. No, needs improvement. He's got a needs improvement under, guess what? Jim. Self-control, that motherfucker.
Do they really have something called
exercise of self-control.
What the fuck does that mean, though? That's not a class, is it?
No, we used to get
That's just an overall assessment.
We used to get things like that on our report cards. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't go to the grade point average.
Right, right. No.
He's got excellent in everything you said. That one needs improvement under exercise and self-control. Now, come on, Bonnie.
What the hell? I'm going to slap you up a little
Jeez,
bit.
where would he get that kind of division?
Yeah,
Where would that come from?
Hey, are you forgetting? He's got 2 parents, bro.
I think that part, though, is going to be all Mr. Martinez. Flies off the handle. Get the fuck out of
He
here.
didn't say that. He said he doesn't. He automatically says flies off the handle. Automatically, he assumes. Oh God, he's such a.
It is the same kid though that figured out how to change grades.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
No wonder he was valedictorian.
Oh, you did it online?
Be funny if the principal goes to read it. Our valedictorian. Wait a minute, that's not him. Bonnie.
Bonnie is all right, bro.
That lady was for 2 months ago.
Okay, Margaret.
But she's going to send me the output report.
You see, AMC CEO came out and says, "Hey,
Why are you
stocks
investing in
doing
us?"
a lot. Just beware, you could lose all your money."
Tell me why it's going up. Why?
Oh, I better tell you.
Because you got a bunch of idiot
Is it
Reddit
the same thing? The same mean thing?
Yeah.
When did he come out and say that?
Same as GameStop.
Yesterday or the day before.
Has it crashed yet?
Yeah, it's down 20% today. But so they sold so much stock. They got almost double the stock they had 2 years ago, and the value is higher than it's ever been. So and they just sold some more. They're going to sell some more.
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Okay, now, let's keep going. Idea on tracking. Josh, you have an idea on tracking down the watch people. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have no clue if this would work, but I'll bet your listeners would pony up, and I think you ought to go through the process and ship them one of those little Apple tracking pods. See if you can't figure out where the box ends up.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool. I wonder if we could do that.
Or say you live nearby. Can we just drop it off? Since they're right in Denver.
Do you get to call and talk to them?
I have no idea.
You know what? Mark looked at their reviews. Mark, every single one of them says they never got their watch back.
Oh, yeah, this is Denver BBB, and they're all the same. The beginning of June, I sent my watch in. They sent me a prepaid package. I paid $34 for that. I put my watch in it. I shipped it. I'm out the $34, and I'm out the watch. Everyone's the same way.
Now, even if you get your credit card thing back for the $34, but listen, how are they doing this? This is as bad as that inmate packages scam.
You know what? We should. Dan brought something up. It's either a mule that's sitting at that address, like scouting out the apartment complex, waiting for a package to be delivered, but maybe they deliver it right to the office, too. I don't know how they deliver to that building. We should go hang out there. Let's do a video.
Or can someone just run by right now? I'd love to see it. Really, I'd love to see it.
I got a Seiko we can ship in. It's a calculator watch.
Yeah.
Remember those?
Can you even open them?
They didn't let us have those in class. That'll date me a little bit.
Josh, I love your idea, by the way. Vanessa, so tell me what's going on in Colorado Springs and real estate.
Yes, well, I got myself in a little bit of a pickle when I decided to hire after interviewing a couple of real estate agents here.
Okay. Who did you hire, and why are you in a pickle?
Well, here I decided to go with Keller Williams Partners.
Okay. And what problem did you have with Keller Williams?
So initially, it all seemed okay. We looked at a couple or a few or several homes. The last few homes that we looked at prior to buying my house, we started having issues because I did not like the way I was being represented.
What do you mean by that? That you dealt, I imagine, when you say Keller Williams, you dealt with an individual there, right?
Yes, correct.
One particular person. And was this a male or female?
A female.
And did this person treat you badly?
Not directly, but indirectly, or consequently, her actions affected.
I bet we can get this figured out.
First of all, I need to. I want you to hold on and figure out what exactly did she do wrong. Let's get right to it after this break. I'm Tom Martino. Any problem you have, we want to hear from you. 303-713-TALK.
So I talked to her this morning. This is what happened. Is he went in there and they had their inspector came in there, says, hey, these windows, you need to get a window expert on them. These aren't good and stuff. And so
who's the expert? The realtor has something. No. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, listen. No, when she came in there, she had her.
Who's she?
Vanessa. Okay. When she came in there, she had her inspector in there. They're all in there. Okay, so was the owner of the house in there. And they said, the inspector said, these windows and stuff, you need to get a real window expert in here.
Because they're fucked
to look up. Because they're, this is. So the guy says, hey, I already had this done and stuff. I paid for it and everything. And her realtor says, yeah, you have to trust this guy, the owner.
That's because she didn't want to fuck up the deal.
Exactly, you know what?
Right. Fuck that. That's a bad realtor.
Yeah, of course it is.
So a home inspector recommended a window expert.
Right. Yeah, because what was she say the problem with the windows was?
All the seals were broken.
Okay.
And so he said he went and got just the cheapest way to do it. He went and got the glass.
So then, she had every right to go with the home inspector's recommendation.
Correct. But she listened to the realtor who said...
Oh, did she buy the house?
Yes.
Okay, and how fucked up are the windows?
$4,000 worth.
Well, you know what? That's not...
new window.
She can't blame that.
No, I understand. But her realtor really pushed her and said, you got to trust people and stuff,
That's not
Well,
good.
how do we prove that?
She has another lady that also had the similar things with her.
With the same woman?
With the same...
And how did she happen to meet her?
I don't know. And so afterwards and stuff, the realtor says, well, I'll give you $2,000.
Did this realtor,
the realtor agreed to give her $2,000?
And she says, I think you should give up all your commission.
That's how much was the commission?
Well, $500,000 house. So
she should give up every dime, but she didn't get the whole commission, did she? If she was the lister on this house, I'm going to fuck her
No.
up.
I don't know about that. She said
well, that's a hell of a good question. If she was both ends.
She said the lister was out of state, like a discount guy. That's what she says, but I don't know.
Rented or something.
Yeah.
And so, wait, the owner, the seller...
No, he's saying the broker. The seller's broker out of state.
But the seller said they took care of the window.
He said he took care of it. He got receipts from the window, and he was right there. He always wanted to be there when the inspector... And if you've been there, the inspectors don't want the owner there.
But he didn't say he took care of the problems that the inspector found. He said before this he had to address it.
Right. That's how I understood it anyway.
Well, yeah, that's weird. Like,
and why is she offering to give $2,000 back? That sends up red flags.
But
let's get her on. Let's reach out to this realtor.
When I bought my house, Mark, there were a couple little things, and the real estate agent, both of them, it was going to cost about $3,000.
Yeah.
And they said, look, we'll chop in $1,500, give you the $3,000, and you have it fixed.
Well, of course, a lot of them do that.
Right.
But then there are stupid fucking idiots that don't understand that.
It depends what side of the transaction you're on. If I'm the seller and they gave me a list of $3,000 and I can fix it for $500, I'm going to tell them I'll fix it.
Right.
Whether they like it or not.
Right.
But if I'm the buyer, I don't want them to fucking fix it. I want the cash to go have it.
If I was the seller, I don't want to fix it either. If I want to arrive at a price.
That's exactly.
It won't be what they asked necessarily, but I want fucking out of it. I want nothing to do with it. Because, Mark, you try to fix it, and they come back to you and say you didn't fix it right. I guarantee you, they love doing that shit. Huh?
There's a number right here. This is her.
Let's call her.
Yeah.
Well, let's have Suzanne call her and say, "Hey, can you come on air, this lady?"
That's a serious accusation.
Trash. She's jive talking. Look, AMC warning to investors. Under the circumstance, I got to get a picture of this.
Yeah.
Fuck!
So how often do you ever see that? And I think he went online, because if you're a CEO, you've got to have so long before you're selling stock. He's trying to sell a stock. Who? The CEO of AMC.
Well, he's probably allowed to do it.
Of course he is, but you just can't do it that phone.
Well, if he's been there for past
It's whatever his agreement is. It's simple as that. It could be anything. But if he was able to sell it, he'd be crazy.
What's going on?
Of course. And they want to sell another $11 million shares.
Well, I have a call into Albert, and he's in a meeting. Okay, well, I'm going to speak to him. Yeah, I'm going to speak to him and find out what's going on. I'll give you a call back. Don't do anything until I call you back.
You know what?
We want to try to get it on, right?
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I love this fucking unit.
There were a couple you looked at that were nicer, I think. That one is absolutely beautiful. But you looked at one there that knocked my socks off, but it was sold.
Yeah, I like a lot of the ones I was looking at were 500 or so.
What you willing to pay for one?
Well, it depends. I mean, it all depends. I'm not going to get into my budget because we're on air, but
right. Would you have a budget?
Well, yeah, but it all depends. It all depends. If I can buy something that's worth $1 million for $800, well,
I don't know. Who would do that? I mean,
that's what I'm saying, but it all depends.
Because Wendy's Frospuccino is cold brew with frosty creamer. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. A participating U.S. Wendy's.
There are some people who consider it a second house.
Ask the simple question.
Shit, dude, there's full-timers we run into all the time, man. They have that is their home base, wherever the fuck are driving.
You know, the best picture of the year, terrible movie, but
what was it?
Nomadland.
I didn't watch it. What's it about?
It's a very cleverly done movie. It's a drama interweaved with reality.
Is it
they have
full-time
actors
RVers?
And real people.
Oh, really? Is it anything to do with RVs?
It's all about full-time.
Oh, it's full-timers? Shit, what's it called? I'll see that.
It's not full-timers like you know.
Oh, these are like bums or what?
Well, a step up from homeless. But some of them have
so they're like Dan.
So they got bad ones. They're not fancy ones.
Pop-ups.
Oh, okay.
Some have Class A's, but it didn't concentrate on the upper end.
You know, a lot of places where...
And it's true story. It's all real people except for some placed actors. It's amazing how they did it. They did a drama. I mean, it's actually very well done.
Nomads, got it. Nomad vagabonds.
Nomadland.
They should call. Well, that is it. They are vagabonds. They're bums. That's what it means.
Mark, it became that one best picture. It's the Oscars.
But you just said it wasn't that good.
No, I don't think it was. But it was very clever. It was.
Hey, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. 713-8255 is our phone number. Welcome to the only show anywhere that does this. We answer questions, take complaints, solve problems, make life a little easier for people, make great recommendations. I love recommending places. I love, like, Renew Home Innovations, beautiful showers. If you need a shower or a tub, people say, Tom, doesn't he do bathrooms? Well, yeah, if you want it. But he said you'd be amazed, I'm talking about Nick, the owner, how many people go for the shower, the custom beautiful shower, and they find that the rest of the bathroom is just fine, just needs a little cleaning up. But they'll do as much as you want. They have visualization software that can help you see what it looks like, and they can start your project the day after you sign the contract. In most cases, they have everything in stock, American standard, beautiful items. And that is renewhomeinnovations.com. Special discounts for seniors and veterans and special financing as well. 303-904-2000. 303-904-2000. That's what they specialize in, the bathrooms. And let's talk. Vanessa's upset. She hired a real estate person. Now, Vanessa, I want to get this clear. This real estate person was your buyer's agent in writing. You signed a buyer's agreement?
Yes, and
okay.
She also sold my house.
Okay, she sold your house and helped you buy this one, but she did not list this house, right?
No.
Okay.
She listed my old house.
I get it.
Not the one
I get it. Did she give you a break in any kind of commission because she did both ends?
Yes, I asked her for that, and she said she would at that time. Mm-hmm.
By the way, what you're upset about is, as I understand it from Dan off the air, the home inspector said there was something wrong with the windows and recommended a window expert. Is that it?
Yes, correct.
What did the home inspector find wrong with the windows?
Seal failure. He said. So when I spoke with him, why he couldn't call the windows bad or good or what the conditions are, he said how they do the inspections now is that if there's more damage than normal, I guess, they recommend the potential buyer to look
further
into more with the window company.
So he recommended a window expert.
Yes, which the owner at that time said, I have everything you're gonna need.
The seller did? What did the seller mean? What did the seller mean by that? The seller said, I have everything you need. What did he mean?
He meant the window issue or concerns with window, anything related that potentially mean problematic with the windows brought up to my attention.
Here's what I want to know. What did the seller represent? Did the seller say, I will fix the windows? Or did the seller say, there's nothing wrong with the windows? Or did the seller say, I already took care of the windows?
A little bit of knowledge, there was a problem with the window. And then he said, I am, out of the good person, and I quote, that I am fixing this problem, and I'm taking responsibility. And
so he said, I will fix the windows.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
I'll take responsibility.
And then you decided to trust him.
No, I was advised to trust him. I said, I don't trust it.
Okay. So when you were advised to trust him, you had the choice of hiring an independent expert or trusting him, right? I mean, in other words, all your agent represented you. Your agent didn't make you do anything. Your agent said that you should trust the seller.
She said, and I quote, you have no reason to go outside what he's presented because you need to trust him.
Okay.
And the seller, she said, and I quote, if he's not going to allow another company to come here to give you, I guess, that estimate or insight
Vanessa,
or information.
Vanessa, listen, I want to make this clear. I think that your real estate agent did a bad job and should have erred on the side of caution. But ultimately, I'm just going to tell you this because you're going to have a tough road to hoe right now. If you're trying to make the case that this agent talked you into it and therefore owes you the money, you're never going to make that case, okay? Not in my opinion, you're not, because you ultimately had the choice and could have gone with your instincts to hire an expert, but you didn't want to lose the deal. Now, here's what I think. I think that your real estate agent is in trouble for this. I think you can get them in big trouble. I don't know if you're going to get them to pay for all of the problem, you know. And it wasn't a non-disclosure. You can't even argue a non-disclosure. Now, you could argue that the guy lied to you if he said he fixed it and he didn't. That's a misrepresentation. That's fraud in the inducement, in my opinion. But do you have those promises in writing that he will take care of the windows?
No, I do not, because at that time I asked her, can you have can you put an email to have all that he just said in an agreement? Can you put an email right now? And she said, you have to give the people the benefit of the doubt. You can't just go around.
Okay. All right.
Jumping people.
All right.
And she
why
said
did
that
you
your behavior
why did you
will
go
have
against
repercussions.
why did you go against your instincts?
Because the seller said, I will not allow another company outside the people I'm working with.
So that meant you could walk away.
said-
You could have walked away.
She said it would have repercussions.
What,
and I don't know what that meant.
Well, you should have found out because it wouldn't. You would have been able to get your money back. So the story you want us to advance is that you were forced to do this. You were forced to buy it, and you were forced to do it, and now you suffered losses, right?
Yes, under the understanding that they have, realtors have that more knowledge than we do.
I get you, and I do. See, actually, Vanessa, I actually believe that, and I'm on your side. But what I'm saying is true. You're advancing the theory that you were forced to do it, and the guy threatened not to let you have anyone else. He was going to not sell it to you or whatever, and you had to do it. That's tell me, what theory are we going with? We're going with a theory. Tell me what the theory is.
I wanted the house. You could say no matter what, but what I'm going by is that I'm talking to my realtor, and I said, where's that promise that you guys say?
But you decided, Vanessa, I'm not asking you if you're happy with what you did. I am trying to get an accurate knowledge here. She didn't do it without you knowing it. You did it knowingly. And you then decided to go ahead and trust the guy, and you trusted your real estate person, and you made a mistake, okay? Now, is she to blame? Yeah, she's somewhat to blame. But the reason I'm driving this home, Vanessa, because there are thousands of Vanessas listening right now. And I'm not going to let them believe the BS that if they trust people and go with a story that they're forced, that it's going to be easy to get paid, because it's not. It's going to be very, very difficult, Vanessa, because if you think I'm difficult on you, try suing this woman in court and see what her attorney does. You had every single step of the way. You're admitting that you had reservations. It actually would be better for you if you said you didn't know any better. It would be better if you said that you thought she was right. But instead, you're saying that you thought you should have gotten an expert, but you went with her recommendation anyway. So here's the deal, Vanessa. You're not doing yourself any favors. This is not going to be an easy battle. I think the woman sucks. I don't think she should be a real estate agent. I think she did talk you into it. I believe you. But it's not going to be easy to make a case that she should absorb the $20,000 in damages you're going to suffer. Is that about how much you're suffering?
That's correct. 24,000.
Yeah, 24,000. Who should pay? Who should pay the $24,000? Tell me. In an ideal world, she should pay it and the seller should pay it. The seller is the one that lied to you more than anyone.
I think this realtor sucks, and that's my opinion. But
I said that too.
If this woman's telling the truth, that was all she wanted.
Very
was the deal done.
Very unethical. All that agent cared about was her commission, and for that, I think that woman should be exposed. What is her name?
Gloria Mendoza. I spoke to her.
Gloria Mendoza.
Oh, let's see what she had to say after the break.
Is it Mendoza or Mendoza?
Dan wrote down Mendoza.
Mendoza. Okay, Mendoza. So, Mendoza, what did she say?
I think you should wait till after the break.
You do? All right. I want to hear what Gloria had to say, or she'll come on the air right after this.
I said Mendoza. It's Mendoza.
Mendoza.
You know what it's going to be. The update's going to be like, well, she said she'd call me back.
No, Sue actually spoke to her.
It was a good hanger.
Business tools from Maxwell and other top business leaders. Plus, you'll enjoy ample networking opportunities. Register today at kingdombusinesssummit.net.
You know, so many people do the wrong thing after they're in an accident with injuries. That's because they go off and ask everybody in the world what they should do instead of the right people. I am telling you, you can get free legal advice when you need it the most. If you're involved in an injury, in an accident, you're injured, you wonder whose fault it is, or you know it's someone else's fault, you need information, John Fuller will go through the entire accident with you, the whole case, free of charge. Call him. Get advice. No obligation to hire him. If you do hire him, you still don't pay out of pocket. He works on contingency. He gets a portion of the fee that he collects for you. 303-597-4500. 303-597-4500. John Fuller. Fuller Law. Look for him at referralist.com. I have green grass, but not just green. I mean the best lawn in the neighborhood. It's the true story. And you know, when I say it, Mr. Green Jeans kind of chuckles because he knows it. That's why our neighbors have signed up with Mr. Green Jeans. Right now he has some rare openings in his schedule. You can sign up too. It's a family-owned and operated business for 30 years. Now they have, of course, Bob and Tammy, the owners, and their son Travis, and the entire team at Mr. Green Jeans, LLC.com. Call them, 303-426-4945. 426-4945.
He's online too. Do I need to get him back on the air? Do you want to
No,
call
I
him?
want to call him. That was his number?
Yeah, I'm going to double check because that's what's on the caller ID, and I always ask.
You just spoke to him. He's on the phone.
He's on the phone. You want me to hang up with him so you can call him?
Yeah, tell him I'm going to call him.
Okay.
Already low price, 720-573-0086. That's 720-573-0086. Get your AC check before it's
And here's another thing. The boss called her up and said, you know, after she had asked for all her permission, saying, Mendoza said, hey, she's been working with you a lot, you're taking a lot of her time up and stuff, you've been very difficult to work with.
We should call up her broker. Who the fuck's her broker?
Mendoza or
yeah. That's what we need to ask is who's your broker?
Travel restrictions and quarantine is the new normal. Over and over, you have heard we are all in this.
Yeah, that's her broker.
Meanwhile, your timeshare system,
just like Frank has a broker.
Month after month, your timeshare company.
They're not forcing people to come back to work here. They're saying you can stay at home.
Well, I've noticed what people are doing. They ain't coming here.
You can stay if you want.
Is that the Gouda? You like the Gouda?
So people might decide never to come back.
Yeah, I know, man. If they could redo it, I guarantee they wouldn't have got the third floor. There's no fucking need for it, man. You've been in that sales room, shit, yeah. How many people you see? At one time, what's the most you've ever seen? I've seen 2.
Call Timeshare Freedom Group now because you have better things to do with your money. 855-48-CANCEL. That's 855-48-CANCEL.
What do you think is going to happen?
48-CANCEL.
Commercial real estate all over.
Say that again, Jack.
It's commercial real estate all over.
Oh, commercial's going to be really weird. The only thing that really bailed out some of this old shit in Denver was fucking marijuana. Marijuana bailed out those old warehouses.
I know, but that's going to end up changing because now they can do so much more in a smaller space.
Oh,
people are moving out of Denver.
You can grow 100 pounds of marijuana in a shoebox now. It just takes a long time.
Many shoeboxes.
How come they don't sell, like, if you wanted to grow your own pot, they should sell, like,
Can you come here a minute?
It's all in one.
Can you come here a minute?
You put the seeds in, and you put it in your basement, and you hit the button.
You can buy little tents like things.
No, but I mean, it does everything. It does the watering. You don't have to do jack shit. You hit the button, and it's over.
Well, that's hydroponics. They have a lot of hydroponics.
You'd have to hook it up to your water supply, I assume.
Well, it depends. Now, hydroponics they use mainly for that, like people for growing, you know, the parsley and basil and all the spices and shit.
Yeah. Why couldn't you do pot? I know nothing about pot.
It may take, it may be difficult to grow. I don't know.
It's so weed for reasons. You can throw those fucking seeds in your field, you'll have fucking pot plants.
But you can, what you don't want to really do is seeds because you you got to get feminized seeds because male seeds won't do the.
I am not sexist.
Wait a minute. What if they identify?
Yeah, what if they're transgender?
If they get trans, I think
that's the newest pot. What is that? Oh, it's transgender.
But you don't go by feminized seeds,
right? But if you say that feminine seeds have more potency than male seeds, you're sexist.
Look, finally.
Colorado's not one of them.
I know, Democrat governor.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. So, would you be pissed you're buying a house, the inspector says you got major window problems, you need an expert, and the owner says, I'll take care of the window problems, they're not that bad, you can trust me. Her real estate agent says, hey, give him the benefit of the doubt. She says, I want something in writing. Her real estate agent says, give him the benefit of the doubt. And go ahead, don't worry about it. That's Gloria Mendoza with Keller Williams in Colorado Springs. And here's the real problem. She's facing now $24,000 in cost. Now, obviously, there's some betterment there, meaning that she never, ever was expecting new windows and doesn't deserve them. So even if the real estate person is liable, they're not liable for 100% of the damages because Vanessa's getting new windows for that price. So what I want to know is how old were the windows, Vanessa, the ones that were in there?
They were original with the house.
And how old's the house?
Built in 2001.
Okay, so the windows were 20 years old. So I would say for you getting 20-year newer windows, you understand betterment, right, Vanessa? If your real estate person bought all of your windows, it would be unfair. Because she's not responsible to give you new windows. You never expected to get new windows. Do you understand that concept?
Yes, and what you're saying came up in a conversation with the owner when he said, I refuse another company just to think that she's going to get new windows out of me because that's not happening.
Well, of course, and no one, they don't owe you new windows on a used home unless you negotiate it. But here's the point. I think your real estate agent did you a disservice. I think Keller Williams did you a disservice. And I think she should at least chip in for maybe half. And she certainly made that in commission. Do you know how much her commission was?
I don't recall. The thing is, Tom, I hired Gloria because she's a Latina. I'm a Latina, single mom, engaged. And I told her at the time, listen, I'm grieving. There is a lot I don't understand on the process. And you being a minority, I think you can help me with this. This is a huge process. I don't remember a lot of the terminology.
I understand. Sure. So what did she say? Did she say she would help you?
Correct. Yeah, she said.
How much? How is she going to help you? How much?
No, not in the terms of the window. She came and offered $2,000. And then one thing led to another where her employer called me yelling at me because of my actions. Gloria had to spend an incredible amount of hours and time, to which I had said to her employer, I offered Gloria to give me the opportunity to hire another agent, and she said, no, she can handle us.
Well, listen, you know what? There are some customers that are difficult and some that are not. And you still get your commission, and that's what you do. You know? So if Keller Williams is saying we only want customers that do not give us a hard time and do not take a lot of time, they can go to hell. If that's what Keller Williams is about in Colorado Springs, I'd like to know who told you that. Who's the Colorado Springs broker in charge down there at Keller Williams? Who is it? Who is the one that called and yelled at you?
Gloria's employer. It says Keller Williams Partners Realty. Older lady. I don't know.
It was an older lady, not a guy. Okay. An older lady.
No, not a guy.
Partners. It's Keller Williams Partners what?
Realty.
Okay. Listen, Suzanne, you talked to her?
Yes, Tom. So she said she was out of town. It was rainy, and she couldn't come on the air, but I could call her back next week.
Okay, well.
So that's what I was going to do.
All right, let's just call her back. I mean, as long as she didn't say, I'm not going to handle this, I'm not going to talk about it. But I think we should also call Keller Williams Partners Realty in Colorado Springs and see what they have to say. I'd like to know who that older woman was.
Probably Darlene Cram.
Is that who the broker in charge is?
That's who the broker is.
Yes, that is.
Darlene Cram.
As in cram it up your...
As in C-R-A-M?
M.
Okay, Cram. M-M. Okay, so Darlene Cram it up your yazoo basically told you to cram it up your yazoo and that it's you were too much trouble.
Let's try to reach out to her.
He said, what do you want?
Well, I'll tell you what I want. I want representation because that's what Keller Williams Partners Realty is supposed to do in Colorado Springs. And that's what you're supposed to do. And if somebody takes a little time, that's what you do. You either represent them or you don't. But if Keller Williams would like to run some commercials saying, hello, I'm Darlene, cram it up your yazoo with Keller Williams Partners Realty, and we don't want customers that are going to take too much time.
Really, all they were supposed to do is deal with this woman and look out for her best interest, and they did not do that according to her.
No. And I'd like to reach out to Darlene Cram to see what she has to say. Because together, those two people made a lot of money. Keller Williams and the agent made a lot of money on this deal, and they could certainly chip in $12,000. They can certainly chip in $12,000. And by the way, Vanessa, the reason I'm saying that is because you're getting brand new windows. And I don't think they're responsible for brand new windows. But
and by the way, don't get ripped off on those. You need to check around.
Yeah. Now, who gave you that bid for? Who gave you that bid for $24,000?
This one is Best View INC.
Yeah. Well, I want. Do we have people down there?
Yeah, I'll tell you who I'd call down there would be Genesis.
Okay. Now K&H doesn't go down there, do they?
I don't think so, but if they did, I'd definitely get a bid from them as well.
Listen, Vanessa, if you want to trust us, then trust us through everything, okay? Not just yeah, because really, I want to make sure that you're not getting ripped off on this new bid as well.
Well, right. I already got the windows, partial of the windows installed.
Oh,
and
God.
Today...
You've already, wait a minute. You've already signed a contract and you have the work being done. My God. All right.
Yeah, we couldn't do it.
Well, you couldn't do it, but you could wait a tick, for God's sakes. When did you close on this deal?
Monday.
I mean, Vanessa, you're kind of in a hurry. I mean, you didn't even give them a chance to respond to this as far as... Well,
these are big purchases.
Well, yes. With Gloria Mendoza, I tried to reach out to her and the previous owner via a lawyer who sent them a
35? Is it 34 or 35? Let's just say 34 right now. No, you got a good price, so I'm glad. I'm happy to hear that.
I got other quotes that
No, you got a good price. Are they vinyl?
I know.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Listen, Vanessa, you're very uninformed, and I'm really surprised you would buy windows without even knowing. Are they virgin vinyl? Are they extruded vinyl? Are they welded vinyl? Where are they put together? What kind of glass pane do you have? Is it double or triple? Is it gas-filled? Does it have the proper weep holes for this altitude? You know, did you check the window? I don't think you did. Does it have true hardware? Does it have, you know, what does it have? What are these windows? And I hope I'm making you feel bad. I'll tell you why. Because I want people to be informed. This is not a country where everyone's your nanny. And I'm not talking to you, Vanessa. I'm talking about everyone. Be informed. We have more coming right up.
This is Denver's talk station with
God almighty. There's fucking people that just go ahead and buy. They're just fucking crazy.
I don't know how bad. I think they were. They replaced the glass. I didn't really understand all that.
What do you mean? Sponsored by the Broad.
Replacing glass is almost as expensive as replacing a window, isn't it?
Yeah, you
really good both
Got it.
directions through the
never
Northwest
do
Jordan area.
That's what, yeah,
That's not what she's doing, is she?
No, that's what he did
So watch for that.
on the glass. Apparently, the seals are broken. It was fogging in the window.
He replaced all the glass.
So I don't know all the gas. I think the bare minimum is what apparently she had said.
Denver weather Sunday today we will see a high temp of 83.
You have 888 after mine.
Yeah, and an overnight low of 55. And then even
I gotta
warmer
look
for
up that
Friday.
phone number.
Friday will be sunny and an expected high of 57. Currently it's 75. With your impact traffic and weather, I'm Chris McLaughlin, 630 KHOW.
The wait is over. The Broadmoor Minute 2 and Pikes Peak Chicago Railway is back. With new trains, new track, new depot, and one of the world's most unique experiences. The peak of adventure awaits you. Buy your e-tickets today at cograilway.com.
I'm Tom Martino for ColoradoPainCare.com. I am a patient. After some years being pain-free, I did have a flare-up, and they're taking care of me. I just had a procedure yesterday, and I'm also going through their physical therapy, world-class physical therapy. But listen, they're going to have a webinar June 11th. Please save that date. One of the docs will be speaking June 11th at noon. I want you to tune in, ColoradoPainCare.com. Find out more information. I'll also give you the phone number, okay? You can sign up using a QR code on their website or call 303-GOT-PAIN. These are wonderful people. If you're in pain, you can call them directly or save that date for the webinar, June 11th, noon. June 11th, noon. 303-GOT-PAIN.
Mark? All right, check out this deal. In fact, there's deals and then there's crazy deals. How about a new furnace, a new air conditioner, a new whole home humidifier, 5 years no interest, starting at $8,500. It's the guys at 888heating.com. You got to check them out. Go to 888heating.com or you can call them at 888-HEATING.
If you've ever sold a home, you know it's a hassle. From the prep work...
I bet that was 30. I bet it was.
What if I told you there was a stress-free way to buy
I was talking very slow at the beginning. See how I go fast, slow?
Helps you buy. Then list your old home once you're all moved out. That means you'll never have to deal with
It's over-modulated.
double moves or double mortgages. And to make sure you get the best possible price, Orchard can also handle repairs or updates, so your home is list ready.
The whole thing, not just him.
Orchard client said,
I don't know why.
Got our new home
I bet it's just the speaker.
And got asking price on our old one. Highly recommend.
Don't you hear it?
Another client said,
No, I don't actually.
Mortgages. Didn't have to rush to move. And most
okay, you guys are fucking up.
7 other offers for our new
It's
home.
not, I think it's just from the monitor.
Enter your address and get started with a free valuation.
It's bad there. I mean, it could be a hair.
Orchard.com. Again, Orchard.com.
Did I say a hair? Did I say it's hair modulated?
That's why Susan is getting her COVID-19 vaccine. She's a little hesitant, but she's anxious to get back to teaching her aerobics class.
That's what you say in commercial Colorado Pain. So Colorado Pain doesn't take customers who are not a pain in the ass because they deal with that pain. I am a pain in the ass.
It'd be great to escape to your own condo in the mountains, your own log cabin in the mountains, somewhere you can get away.
Let's see here.
Hey, it's Ross
If I Google bad racquetball players, there's Dan's picture. Just like that. What'd you figure out, Doc?
Oh, I only got about 6 things I'm working on at the present time. But we got that thing from Bank of the West cleared up.
Well, what was it?
He has an appointment tomorrow at 2:30.
Well, why were they giving him the bird and telling you something else?
I think you misunderstood because he called them back and they made an appointment tomorrow at 2:30.
Oh, good.
So there was some communication.
I wonder why it was closed, though.
I think it's staffing.
Okay, it could be. I guarantee you can make more off unemployment in Colorado with the extra government money than being a teller. There's no doubt.
Because the bank that I went to, the first bank, that office is closed temporarily.
Well, you don't know that and stuff because your unemployment depends upon what your job was before Colorado's office.
If you were a teller, a bank teller.
I don't know, what do they make? But I mean, the extra money's $300.
A week?
A week.
Yeah, so an extra $1,200 a month on top of whatever their other unemployment is. Let's say they're $30,000 a year. What does unemployment pay? I don't know either.
Every aspect of your life back plan is managed.
They're probably making like $125,000 a year on unemployment.
Without the need for in-person doctor appointments.
Well, you know that jump start thing. They're getting, if you go back to work now, you get $800.
1,000 in some places.
No, it's $800. That's in Colorado.
Oh no, Amazon is giving you 1,000 if you.
No, this is the government.
Oh, that's a private company.
Right.
They're giving you $800, and if you stay longer than 30 days, you get another $800.
Wow.
But if you were a good employee and stayed the whole time, you got jack shit.
Same with Amazon. If they're giving 1,000 bonus hiring, how about all the people that never fucking left?
Yeah. Right. I spoke to some kid yesterday for my ARP thing. 21 years old. He had a problem. Stupid thing. He bought something online and got screwed.
What the hell's AARP got to do with it?
No, I'm just saying. So I said, he's 21 years old. I said, are you disabled? I said, no. He said, where do you work? He said, well, I'm unemployed right now. And I said, you're 21 years old. You have no disability. Why aren't you working?
What did he say?
He said, well, I'm looking for a job.
Of course.
That's all I meant.
He's holding out
Is this me, bro?
Tom Martino here, 303-713-8255. Welcome to the show. WaterPros.net for the best water systems at the lowest prices. I can't stress it enough. You know, there are very few products you can say that about. Some products you can say, oh, these are great products, or, everybody has these products, but this guy's the best price, or everybody's got the low price, but this guy's got better products. But in this case, with WaterPros.net, Paul the Waterman, I can say it's the best system at the lowest price. For a whole house water conditioning system that makes your water super soft, excellent for cleaning, cleaning everything. It's an excellent cleaning solution, plus drinking and plus bathing and plus everything you need in a conditioning system for under $2,000 fully installed for the whole house. That's a low-maintenance, high-quality system for the entire house, under $2,000. If you go to any of these other places that I call shysters, you pay more and get less. You start at about $6,000 to $7,000. WaterPros.net. That's right, WaterPros.net. I can't say enough. You can do whole house filtration if you want, or just point of use. They have the lowest prices in the entire industry and the best products. Now, did we reach out to Keller Williams? Suzanne, what did they say as far as the broker in charge?
I left a voicemail for her to call us back.
All right, so we're going to suspend this for a minute. Vanessa, she used Keller Williams and an agent there, the agent Gloria Mendoza, and Gloria Mendoza recommended she not listen to the home inspector and that instead trust the seller, who said that he upgraded or helped or fixed the windows, and recommended they don't get it in writing. She just needs to trust people. This real estate agent did her a disservice. She is now facing $24,000 in replacement windows. Now, of course, I don't believe Keller Williams is, or the agent is responsible for the whole $24,000 for brand new windows because she's getting brand new windows and they were 20 years old. However, I do believe that Mendoza and Keller Williams should kick in their commission or at least pay up to half. I think that's just as a goodwill gesture because of the bad advice. But to make matters worse, Vanessa says that Keller Williams Partners Realty in Colorado Springs, the managing broker, Darlene Cram, as in cram it up your Yahoo, calls her and yells at her because she's causing them too much trouble. She took too much time. So I guess the message from Keller Williams Partners Realty in Colorado Springs is, don't take too much of our time. Don't give us a hard time. We only want good, easygoing customers who don't mind being screwed. I guess. I don't really know. Obviously, some of this is in jest, but I want to find out what's going on. This is wrong. Let's keep going. 303-713-TALK. Gary, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Hello?
Hey, Gary. What's happening?
Hey. Hi, Tom. Last Saturday, my home was hit pretty heavily with some hail.
Really? Where are you?
I am in Peyton, Colorado.
Oh, I didn't know there was hail out there. Okay.
Yeah, it was marble-sized, quarter-sized hail.
Okay, so what's going on now?
Well, I've called a couple of different roofing companies, Total Roofing and Premier Roofing, here in the Springs, and I've had inspections done. But I was wanting to bring in an independent inspector to kind of back up what the roofing companies are saying. I suspect that I have additional damages.
Yeah. You're talking about a public adjuster. Public adjusters are those who work for the consumer. And they work for the consumer, like Claims Pro is one of them on our referral list, claimspro.net. I'm not sure if he goes to the Springs, but he is publicadjuster.pro is Claims Pro, 833-252-4600. You might want to ask him. And what public adjusters do in general is make sure, first of all, that you see all your damage and that you're paid for it justly, including overhead and profit and loss of use or site allowances, different kinds of things. But he's at publicadjuster.pro if anyone's looking. But here's what I want to say. You don't always need one, but I think it's a good idea. Sometimes they want to see what your insurance says first, sometimes not. You said marble-sized hail. And what are the roofers telling you right now?
So I've gotten inspection results from both, one stating like 8+ strikes per square over the entirety of the roof, and then another saying 10.
Well, what are they saying? Are they saying you need a whole roof?
Yeah, total replacement.
Are they giving you actual prices when they did your actual bids?
They haven't put together pricing yet. It's just simply an inspection. What they're wanting to do is meet with the insurance adjuster.
Nope. Sorry. I see. Here's what I don't like. I don't want roofers meeting with adjusters and making their own deals because that deal keeps you out of it. I want that roofer to commit to what they think I need and how much it's going to cost. Then I want the adjuster to commit, and I don't want them making side deals because here's what happens if they meet before they give you something. If you get no bid and they go up on the roof and they think you need A, B, C, and D, and the adjuster says, we're only going to pay for A, B, and C. So now when the roofer gives you the contract, they may say, here's the contract, and it has A, B, and C on it. And you never knew that they thought you needed C and D. But the roofer made a private deal with the adjuster because he wanted the job so bad that he was willing to give up the extra stuff you needed. That's where public adjusters come in, you see, but also a good roofer. If you have a roofer give you a full and complete estimate, Then you have an adjuster give you a full and complete estimate, and then or assessment. Then you put them together, and then you can say to the roofer, hey, roofer, you said I need C and D, the roofer, and the adjuster says I only need A, B, and C. Can you talk to the adjuster? And then you say to the adjuster, why don't I need C and D? Why are you saying I only need A, B, and C? So I don't like them collaborating. Not unless, best case, I was with them, but I still don't like it until after they've both made their honest assessments. It's bad form when they want to meet with the insurance people. Mark?
Gary, we've got a company down there, Excel Roofing. Have them come out. Just get a third look at this thing. It's not going to cost you anything. They're at 719-434-3020.
And do we also have Petrali, right?
We have Petrali. They're another good one down there.
They've been there for years. Okay. Petrali Roofing and Excel Roofing. I'm serious, either one. Now, here's the other thing. There's another public adjuster as well who may go down there.
Oh, Paragon, and he's actually in the Springs.
Okay, so give their number out, Mark.
Hold on.
It's
I do it in my commercials all the time.
You got it?
719-726-0020.
So check this out,
It's
caller.
Paragon Services on a referral list.
Yeah, so this is no kidding. My insurance company, Gary, said I didn't have any damage. None. This guy, Matt, came out. I ended up getting $70,000 from that insurance company.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that, the roofer's not an expert necessarily on siding and on windows and decking and all of these things that I think took damage, and I really do want an independent guy to give me a full and complete, assessment of all of the damages so I can roll it all in.
Listen, man, would you do it this way? Get Excel or Petrali out there, just like we said. Let them look at it and give you an upfront assessment of it. Then you're going to go to your insurance company if there is damage, and let's say they agree to everything and offer you $25,000, okay? So at that point, with the $25,000, once that, then you call Matt at Paragon Services and let him play cleanup. And here's why. He only gets a small percentage of the extra money he finds. So if he steps in and finds another $25,000, he's not going to touch that first $25,000 you already got. He's only going to get a small percentage of the secondary.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so I hope...
I thought I was kind of on the right track.
Yeah, you're on the right track. And
for a long, long time, and I hear it come up all the time. I just was having a hard time locating.
Hey, that's good. That's good, though. Now, how old is your roof, Gary?
The house was built in 2007.
Okay, so
it has a 40-year shingle on it.
It's good that you're doing this. By the way, John, I want to hear your comments coming up.
Tell your smart device to play 630 KL on iHeartRadio. Then you can hear news and talk.
People can be mad about you, but they should be even more mad about the media. Well, the media is no longer media. It's just
That's right. That's exactly what it is. We no longer have
about all day like getting the process of getting it done.
You're gonna have to ask them. I don't know.
Okay, I was saying.
He's got a slipping in his transmission. I said if it goes to Kimmer or somebody, they can get the oil change and it might extend it for a while. It did for my son.
A little sluggish traffic heading into downtown.
What did you say?
He's getting a little slipping in his transmission. I said if you change the oil, you might get a little longer on.
Or it'll get worse.
You think?
And then even more
Well, yeah.
Friday will be sunny.
If it flushes it can't, for sure.
They don't flush it. Kimmer.
Oh, I just asked Kimmer. That's what I tell him.
That's what I told him. Yeah,
Kimmer might say, don't touch it.
Marvin Window and James Hardy Siding. Marvin received the Green Award for producing more efficient windows than any other manufacturer. James Hardy is named the greenest siding brand.
John there, I wanted to ask him a question before I said this stuff. If you're looking for countertops, I love pointing out the art of granite. For bathroom and kitchen, they do the bathroom free when you do the kitchen, so it's an ideal time to do both. And here's what I really love, prices on the phone. So you get your stone or your marble or your whatever you have, granite, at wholesale, no matter where you buy it, with theartofgranite.com. So they give you a price on the whole job based on wholesale prices and the fabrication and installation. So call and get your price on the phone. 303-386-5919. They're located in Golden, and you can go to the showroom, but make your appointment first or call them 303-386-5919, 386-5919.
All right, check this out. A company that is so sure of their employees that they're going to treat you right and give you the best price ever, they will send a licensed plumber to your house for free for a free estimate. Let's say you have a sewer line or something clogged. They'll come out. They'll actually camera it for free. If you need a second opinion because someone told you you needed a sewer line, they'll give you a free second opinion. Master Rooter Plumbing. These guys are unbelievable. I've been talking about them for so long, it's crazy. You just go to referrallist.com and put in Master Rooter. You'll find their number right there. Or you can go to masterrooter.plumbing.
From the Stone Age to the digital
And I'm sorry about that. What did you say?
Wonderful and absurd relationships. Fall in love with ridiculous.
Oh, well, okay. So,
you know what's interesting about the month of June? All these great Supreme Court decisions are going to come down in the next 2 weeks. About abortion, about voter rights, about First Amendment speech rights. They all come, because the session ends in June.
Why is it that Democrats feel that asking for identification is against minorities?
I have no idea. You can't go anywhere without giving. You can't go to a concert without showing your ID.
Get with Ideal Home Loans. 303-867-7000. Do home improvements with Ideal Home Loans. 867-7000. Or just lower payments. Or
what I think they should do is the Republicans should come out and say,
does it go to underwriting at that point?
We're going to send buses to low-income neighborhoods and allow people to register and get an ID so they can't complain about not having access to registration sites.
Oh,
So I just had a few questions for him.
Against minorities. Como was on CNN saying it's a throwback to Jim Crow. They're trying to keep you from voting. How does asking for an ID stop? You fucking have to give an ID to take a shit.
Exactly. To get anything, to your taxes, to your they're liars. They're liars. Cuomo's a liar. Democrats are liars.
Well,
they're liars.
Republicans are too.
Not like this. Not like this. And they throw the race card in there all the time. They're the racist people. They're basically saying.
I agree 100%. You have to have a fucking license to vote. It's stupid not having it.
I think if you read into what they're saying, if you're a minority, you're too fucking stupid.
Well, no, the worst is when they send out, they blast email or write these people snail mail, and they're the actual ballots, and they fill them out, pre-postage pay to send them back.
I think they're despicable people. They're despicable.
Well, come on, Dan. There's actually Democrats that are in the middle. I used to be one of them.
But you're not in the House of Representatives.
He's not talking about those.
He is. He thinks all Democrats.
No, the politicians.
Oh, they're all fucking losers. I don't even think most Republican politicians are any fucking good. Anybody that's been in office more than fucking 8 years needs to get the fuck out.
I totally agree with that.
They never set it up to where your entire fucking
Mark,
life
did you see on the Google thing, we are paying monthly.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I'm going to do that.
I was thinking that. I was almost thinking that's a fucking scam.
No, I will absolutely get that done, by the way.
Yeah. And then instead of Dan at Troubleshooter.com, I'm going to send you what I want his to be from now on.
I nixed Ted.
I can't say it on here.
Hero.
Hero.
Wasn't Dan the equivalent of colonoscopy? Didn't we make that connection?
I still like that joke. He goes, man, that last rectal exam I had sure felt funny. The guy was massaging me with his shoulders.
That's what he said about that.
Okay, I got to go do this contract, then I'll agree to it.
He says, it wasn't bad when I had one hand on my shoulder. Then I looked over and the other hand was
One hand's patting my head, the other one's rubbing my shoulder.
Is there a nurse in here?
At MSNBC, this is who we are.
Denver's talk station, 630 KNOW.
Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK. unfortunately, we're leaving soon. So, I mean, not leaving. We have a break coming up. John, what are your comments, sir, regarding Dr. Fauci? Of course, you know I like to stay politically. I don't like political discussion, but I do love discussions on our rights and responsibilities and all of that. What did you want to say?
Just wanted to say that the media has once again failed the public, and this is not political.
We can talk about, you're right, we can talk about the media. I hate the media.
Well, we were told this thing jumped from a bat to humans at the Wuhan wet market, but the virology lab is now really compelling and riveting and very egregious to think that someone would engineer sort of a biological weapon, whether it's accidental or intentional.
Well, wait, don't you think even our country's looking into that stuff? I don't think the fact they accidentally let it get out is one thing, but I wouldn't believe for a second that Russia, the U.S., China, everybody's playing with this stuff.
Yeah, hold on, John. I don't want to cut you short. We'll come back with more. I'm Tom Martino. More coming up on the Troubleshooter Show.
People think we're golden.
Isn't that late? Isn't it 58?
Oh, I totally agree there. That would be...
We're a superpower. Of course we play with this shit.
Not only that is, you'd be very naive to think. Right. If not just a...
I'm not saying we do it. We do it to use it. Like anything,
right.
We would use it as a defense, most likely.
Or also to how to fight against it.
You add the good stuff into the water so none of your own people get it, then you unleash it to the world.
All I know is China, and for the WHO, and this is what I compare Fauci's to the WHO. You know, that they basically lie.
Well, they're the puppets of the Chinese.
Right, the WHO is. But I mean,
all the heads over there, they get all money from China.
You can't even say anything about the WHO, in fact.
Yeah, you better shut up.
Yeah.
You're going to get...
I told you, I like Metallica. I'm done with the...
I like
the guest culture. The guest WHO. I like the guest. Did you like the Guess Who? I like that band. This Canadian band.
Guess Who?
Yeah. Did you like that? I like that.
I like the old Canadian band I like was...
What always pissed me off how they always confused it with Who.
Yeah.
Because Who? No, it's not. It's the Who.
Well, was it the Beatles or was it Beatles?
The Beatles. Beetlejuice or Beatles?
Who are the ones that outsold them all the time and had their own TV
The Monkeys.
Shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
Was it?
See, there's talent, then there's the Beatles.
You know what was a good band?
I agree with you. I never thought the Beatles were good.
Shut up, fucking... You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Jesus Christ. Now I gotta hear from a fucking doctor who doesn't know shit.
I thought the Tom...
Hey, go find me a lawyer that likes the Beatles. It'll never happen.
What happened to opinions, Tom?
You know, the first Beatles song I ever remember is a fucking Yellow Submarine. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
I know it.
You have to be doing acid to appreciate
How about
that kind
She
of
Loves
shit.
Me, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a classic.
Yeah, that's like old Tom.
Their lyrics are so juvenile compared to any good songwriter.
But they have some different songs.
I mean, even the Monkees are more mature.
Overall, their lyrics were very sophomoric. The melodies were just bubblegum. They just were very prolific, that's all.
I think they had certain songs that were more deeper.
But the lyrics were terrible. They were so repetitive.
Well, there was something like that.
You talk to any...
I love you, yeah, yeah.
Look, you take someone like Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, even Billy Joel.
Oh, I like... See,
how about Billy Idol?
That's more ballad type.
Or Queen.
I like Queen.
Oh, man, that movie they did portraying him, that was so good.
But look at that.
You know what?
Girl,
Queen rocked, man.
They just have so much excitement.
And their lyrics weren't, they were really lyrics. They weren't repeating the same things over and over.
Hey, good, Betty. How are you doing?
You know what one of my favorite Queen songs
I need a list of stuff like...
you ever listen to that one?
I don't know, just tax-related shit. Should I send it to Bob or Mallory? I don't know who, literally... for example, I need 2019 K1s for something like that. Who should I send that to have
well, if you do too much level cutting, the lyrics are very easy to understand.
Perfect.
Spray on hard surfaces to kill 99.9%
You rock. Thanks, Betty.
bacteria initially.
Bye.
Once Microban 24 is effective.
Poor Mallory, he was in the hospital longer than you, Doc.
Was he really?
Fuck yeah, man. He was in an entire month, I think a month and a week.
Wow.
He said the first, I think it was like day 5, he was like really wondering if that was it, you know. And then,
really?
yeah, he was, and then by about 2 months, or not 2 months, 2 weeks in, once you get over, you know right. When you're a little over that hump.
Yep.
And then he knew he was going to be okay. But he said, man, he couldn't even get up. He couldn't get up. I mean, just fuck it. If he sat up in the bed, he was fucking exhausted. Are you the same way?
Well, the first 3 or 4 days, yeah, because they were giving me 8 or 9 liters of oxygen, which is ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
But, you know, they gave me the serum. They gave me all sorts of stuff. They gave me anticoagulants. They gave me tons of antibiotics. So, you know, if you get a superimposed bacterial infection on top of COVID, you're in really bad shape.
You're fucked.
Right. So they gave me all sorts of antibiotics. And so for the first 3 or 4 days, it was touch and go. Then after that, it was just a matter of weaning me off massive oxygen. But I knew I'd be okay.
So ventilators, do they even use those anymore? Towards the end, they do?
You got to be in a coma, though, to get them.
Right.
Oh, so either induce you or...
Right, yeah, they put you in a coma.
I thought we found out that that was not the way to treat most cases.
It was only as a last resort. If there was nothing else they could do.
But all those ones at Ford built and shit, almost none of that shit got used, did they?
Again, where the fuck was the medical...
The therapeutics, I think what ultimately helped more than anything as far as dying was the therapeutics. Wouldn't you agree? They learned how to treat them with the therapeutics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the beginning, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Right, right. And also at the beginning, they didn't have the serum. You know, people who had recovered from it, they didn't have serum because nobody had recovered from it. The convalescent serum.
The one that Trump was always talking about?
No, let me tell you, Mexico's using that again, hydroxychloroquine.
Really?
Oh, let me tell you, that, and I know, Doc, you said, well, they haven't done a triple-blind study, whatever. They didn't do a fucking triple-blind study on masks.
I agree, but the thing is, masks can't do any harm.
Exactly, but hydroxychloroquine didn't do harm for 50 years.
Well, it depends on the dose.
And that's what they did. They just ended up giving them massive doses.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying you can't compare a drug with a mask.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is
at the beginning,
they poo-pooed it before they even gave it a chance.
One of the big things was the convalescent serum because it had the antibodies. Because once you recover...
You're talking like plasma.
Yeah. So once you recover, your plasma has antibodies. Yeah. And in the beginning, they didn't have enough people who recovered to start using plasma.
Well, in the beginning, even their tests were not full.
Well, yeah, because, you know, things take time. The fact that they got the vaccine out as fast as they did, and that it was not a viral...
Look at the media. Why did the media say Trump got it done in 8 months? Biden said it'd be 2 years.
Oh, everybody did. But you know what? You know all those people knew that, though. That's what really pisses me off. They virtually just lied to the public because the election was coming up.
But look at he gambled billions and billions of dollars, Trump did, on getting the vaccine.
We had 17 people on YouTube say the monkeys are better.
We just had 63 people say that the Beatles were sophomoric and juvenile lyrics.
Yeah, and they said their best song was supposed to be Yeah, Yeah, Yeah.
They said they should have added in one more yeah.
They were so repetitive.
They love me, yeah, 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 yeah.
And we all live in a multicultural show.
Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show. We're here to help you solve problems, to answer questions, to take complaints, to make your life a little easier. One Clear Choice Garage Doors is the place to go for any garage door issue. That's the door or the opener. A lot of people don't realize that. They do doors. I had doors done. I had openers done. They have the new Sidewinder. They're great people. One Clear Choice Garage Doors. Listen, I don't stand behind anyone unless I truly believe them, and of course, if apropos, use them. And I use them, and I love One Clear Choice Garage Doors. 720-370-3987. anything to do with garage doors, One Clear Choice Doors, 24/7 service. And by the way, I want to say they have emergency service if you need it for broken springs, stuff like that, 24/7. OneClearChoiceDoors.com, 720-370-3987. Let's go to the phones. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. John, what did you want to say about Fauci? Listen, since his emails have been published, I think a lot of the shine has come off his knob. And basically, I think that it's the kind of thing that would be expected. You know, first of all, any kind of official that does email, you got to be crazy to put stuff in there. But he wrote clear and concise emails, an email about masks not working. Although, to be really fair, I mean, to be ultimately fair, what he said about masks in that email did not really contradict what everyone said in the later about masks. And I was watching Fox, and they were making fun of it. And I get it. He was saying it doesn't filter. It doesn't help anyone. It's not made to protect people. It's made to protect the sick. Didn't he say that or whatever? I forget the email. Let's look at the email. But really, they never address the part about cutting down the distance of your spitules or whatever.
It has to cut down the particles.
Of course.
It has to.
Yeah. And although I made fun of it, he really did not contradict himself when it came to that. But anyway, I want to know, what did you want to say about Fauci?
My only point is that the Biological Weapons Anti-Terrorism Act of 1989 says anyone who's developing or producing or experimenting in a virology lab is guilty and shall be imprisoned for life. Versus this whole bullshit. Excuse me.
Oh, you know better. I got it already, Ants. I got it. So I'm going to let him back after we spool up again. Here's what the email said. All right? Here's what it says. Sylvia, masks are really for infected people to prevent them from spreading infection to people who are not infected, rather than protecting uninfected people from acquiring infection. So it's saying it's really for infected people to prevent the spreading. Well, that's not really contradictory, right?
No, I don't think so at all, actually.
Okay, and the typical mask you buy is not really effective in keeping out virus. Now, he's saying keeping it out, which is true. Small enough to pass through the material. It might, however, provide some slight benefit in keeping out gross droplets if someone coughs or sneezes on you. Okay, so it really wasn't, to be fair, that wasn't contradictory. Now, there were other things, of course, he said. Now, I do not recommend that you wear a mask, particularly since you are going to a very low-risk occasion. But in fairness, I don't think that really contradicts stuff. But it amazes me how many people today are still wearing masks and double masking even. They're double masking because they kind of like it. They say they feel more comfortable with a mask. Again, it will cut down on the distance. But for those who are wearing, when you're wearing masks, you're way out on your own walking down the street. I never understood that. Or you're in a closed car. But anyway, he wanted to talk about Fauci himself. Go ahead on Fauci. You know, the one thing that bothered me, he was involved in active research in the Wuhan lab. He was funding, along with other scientists, on the transmission of viruses from animal to people, people to animal. And he knew he was, and he knew that it escaped, and he knew at the time when he was making Trump sound like a crazy person, and the CNN headline said, Fauci crushes Trump's notion or theory that virus was created. So I just think a lot of people have egg on their face. Now, John, do me a favor and do not say any bad words.
Okay, sir, I'll be in for 5 seconds. You just hit the nail on the head, is that there's no mention of the origin of the virus. Like you just said, Fauci was involved for years. In fact, it started in 2012, I think.
He was.
But So let's just all admit that this was the most egregious act as far as crippling economies, killing 4 million people in the U.S., almost 600,000 people.
That's crazy.
Kids in school wearing masks. It just basically, that's all I wanted to say is that let mainstream media just won't touch the story with a 10-foot pole, and now it's becoming common knowledge. That's all I got, Tom.
Hey, by the way, I wanted to ask you, has CNN not covered the fact that it was possibly lab-based?
Oh, I'm sure they've had to by now.
I mean,
well, they're saying things like Biden will now launch an Intel into it, but they're not
listen,
about.
Here's the other side of that. What can possibly happen? Honestly, what are you going to do to China? What do we expect is going to happen? I can't even imagine.
Here's the thing.
We're not going to stop manufacturing things in China.
Here's the thing that I think. It doesn't really matter where it came from.
Exactly.
I mean, here's one thing that I did hear, that the Chinese did stop and take measures in their country before they let the world know, and they could have let the world, and they could have voluntarily stopped people from traveling.
Well, the culture never wants to look bad. And I mean, that's not just the Chinese culture. That's any culture. They didn't want to look stupid.
And also, they could have stopped people from traveling abroad. They could have put a ban on travel, but instead when okay, I did hit the delay. Didn't I hit the delay? It was all right. 303-713-TALK. Listen, I got to go to Greg now about retirement benefits. Greg, what's going on with you, Greg? What's happening?
Tom, I've got a comment and an update and a question, if you'll let me.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So my comment is the watch scam that you're talking about earlier, the addresses that they're shipping to may very well be Airbnbs, and they're changing them weekly and using a mule to receive the watches and ship them out of the country.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
So now...
Or even different hotels, for that matter.
Yeah. And
or how about an RV park?
Yeah. So I've seen that happen before in other coverage, so that's something to think about. My update is I spoke with you guys yesterday about Evolve Vacation Rentals, and I want to give kudos to them. They yesterday afternoon, I guess my problem had escalated through their system, and a senior person called me and said, "Yeah, we're going to make it right," and they actually gave me, in addition to the refund, a future travel credit, a large one. So, I want to recognize.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's really good to know. Hold on, and we have more coming up. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Listen, I don't like to be salacious here, of course, and I don't do that you-know-what humor that you hear on a lot of shows like You-Know-Who on satellite. But I did run across a true honest-to-God survey on the horniest cities. Honestly, it's a true survey coming up.
Have you guys seen The Last Cruise on Netflix? You guys have got to watch it.
Is it salacious? Is it salacious?
Over here, it's FCC. So
no, I know, but
whatever it takes to make sure that their true story is told in private, and because our cause is true, the compensation is large. Call me at 303-907-5003 or hit dancapitalislaw.com.
So what's it about, Mark?
All right, I want to tell you about Ideal Home Loans for your next Ideal Home Loan, and it's ideal. Why? Because first and foremost, and you would think other lenders would catch on to this, Ideal Home Loans will refinance you if rates go down, free of charge. So you never have to worry about timing the bottom of the market. Get that low rate, enjoy that low rate, and then if rates go down even further, they refinance you again and again. You get a 2-year guarantee every time you close. Ideal Home Loans. And what else is ideal? You can pick your own term. You don't have to go back to 30. You don't have to go back to 15. You can go to any term you want and still enjoy that low rate. So many people just want to shorten the term and get the low rate. You can do whatever you'd like. What else do they have? Credit optimization. Think about that. You're already approved. Most lenders just go ahead and get your loan done. But they want to save you even more money by optimizing your credit, doing little tiny things. And it's legal and it's quick. Call them. 303-867-7000. 867-7000. IdealHomeLoans.com. Colorado Pain Care is the clinic I go to for pain that I've recently had. I love these people. I mean that. They're doing so much for me. They have a June 11th, in a few days, June 11th at noon, they have a webinar coming up. And I want you to sit back in the comfort of your home or office or car, whatever, and listen to this. That's ColoradoPainCare.com to find out more. There's a QR code on there for your phone. Or you can just call them 303-GOT-PAIN. If you have pain, they're dedicated to eradicating pain. And I'm living testimony of how they work. 303-GOT-PAIN.
Hey there, homeowners. Are you experiencing pipe leaks? Is your water bill unexpectedly high? Or are you suffering from low water pressure? These are signs of widespread pipe failure due to old, corroded, and junk. Rerouting a pipe or other Band-Aid fixes are not the answer. Only a whole house repipe with brand new high-quality PEX or copper will permanently solve the problem. Repipe specialists. No more leaks and great water pressure. They've been doing this for over 25 years, serving over 40,000 happy customers. Repipe in just 1 to 2 days at half the cost of a plumber with a lifetime guarantee. So say goodbye to leaks once and for all. Enjoy a pipe leak-free home and eliminate the risk of potential water damage. Call us today for your free in-home estimate. We'll even take 20% off our already low price and receive 0% interest when you call today. 720-573-0086. 720-573-0086. That's 720-573-0086.
Regaining control of your drinking doesn't have to mean uncomfortable group settings or the unrealistic expectation of sobriety. Meet LifeBack, a physician-approved, completely private, app-based program designed for those who want to cut back on drinking without having to quit completely. Using a combination of medication proven in clinical studies to reduce the urge.
Yeah, Daniel. Quit talking about it.
Does the station get fined?
And what's a motorbike anyway?
We don't- just
You're
don't
like,
even-
I'm selling my motorbike. I mean, what is a motorbike?
I know. Only how
All right, is
aged
it down
is
by
the
the
guy
creek?
who calls a motorcycle a motorbike?
Well, it's a dirt bike.
It's down by the creek.
It's a dirt bike, so I'm going to call it a motorbike. Don't you guys call that?
Yeah, back in the fucking 30s when you were born. Dad.
What's to say?
He probably uses words like graffiti.
I just say, I'm selling my hog.
So you know who Kristen Cavallari is?
No.
She was one of these reality stars and was married to, I forget which, who was the, some quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, they used to be here.
Right.
Cut.
Yeah, it says it right there. Okay.
So anyway, my son's claim to fame, she lived, her family lived next to us when we were living in one of our homes. And Eric was the first boy that kissed her when she was 2 years old.
That's cute.
So that's his claim to fame, that he was the first one to
She
kiss.
looks like a Danish news reporter that made the news yesterday. She was doing a story on TV about a swingers club, and she had sex with somebody on the news feed.
Right.
Did you read that? I didn't know if the video was out there. I didn't watch, but I was like, wow. She had sex on the news feed that made the news yesterday. A Danish news reporter was doing a swingers club.
When she started, you could hear her getting banged in the back, apparently. I just
I love how you go through the motions. Like,
well, that's how they
like
described
that's
it in the article.
Almost like, what was the name that did
Be more like.
No. Who was the guy?
What? What are you trying to say?
Oh, Tubin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's sad I even knew what he was
Right.
trying to say. I gotta get out of here.
He did disappear, man. You don't hear about him anymore.
Well, you know why? I would be embarrassed to come on TV again after that.
Oh, the first thing I'd ask that guy if he ever came on is, God, how did you get caught doing that? What were you doing, man?
What did you think? He said, I pressed the wrong button.
You know what? He probably had it set up like Tom. We had one thing and he had porno on the other screen, and he was probably jacking off to the porno.
How do you know?
What? Well, how else? I don't have two screens.
It'd be impossible.
Here you go. You had your phone. Your phone is...
Let me tell you, I've heard more unreal sex stories being you know
Tom
who I
Martino
am.
here, 303.
713 Talk. 713-8255. Welcome. Greg, did you have anything else to discuss here on retirement benefits?
Yeah, Tom, I've got a question on that.
Okay.
So I'm wondering what the formula is that's used to calculate your Social Security retirement benefit.
Good. I have no idea.
You could listen, man. You can go. I don't know.
You can go and find out what yours are, but I don't know the actual formula. But I do know they take the highest
35
quarters.
No, highest 35 years.
Oh,
of income. Yeah.
Well,
No,
okay.
It's the highest 40 quarters.
Highest 40
Yeah, you're
quarters.
way off. It's 10 years.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
It's 10 years.
Your highest 35 years for your Social Security.
35 years, 10 years, or 40 quarters.
So what
Which one
if
is
you
it?
only work 30 years?
Then you don't get very much.
Okay.
So
we got to get an accountant on.
It's
But Greg, for your own, like Tom said, you go to the IRS.
I don't know. You can find out. But guys, why are we having such a disagreement? Where are you getting your information, Doc?
From when they calculated my Social Security benefits.
I heard 40 quarters. Dan, why do you keep saying no on the quarter?
40 quarters is even if you get Social Security, you got to have 40 quarters.
Oh, maybe that's
but it's
what
your
it is.
top 35 years
as far
of
as the
income.
amount.
Right.
Okay. Well, then you're both right then, maybe. The 40 quarters, no, I'm saying 40 quarters is you have to have 40 quarters to get it, right? And then once you get, which would be 40 quarters, 10 years, which is what Mark said, the 10 years. And then you have to have, for the calculation, the top 35 or the top years up to 35 years, right?
Here's what it says. Social Security calculates your average indexed monthly earnings during the 35 years in which you have earned the most.
That's exactly what Dan just said.
Yeah, that's what I told Dan.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, so that makes sense.
Good, thanks.
And then as far as the actual formula, though, I have no idea what that
There's
is.
calculators. When I Googled this, there's a ton of calculators that you just pop in your info, it'll tell you.
Does it actually tell you your benefit based on your file, or
I haven't done it.
a calculation based on what you put in?
If you go to your file on the IRS, they'll project what you're going to get.
Yeah.
That's there for sure.
Right. It's also indexed for inflation, too.
I think don't you only pay Social Security on the first 140 grand a year or something like that?
125, I thought it was. I don't know.
And that depends.
Okay.
It goes up every year.
But now,
almost every year.
There's a certain amount you pay on everything. Some percentage you pay on
Medicare.
everything. On Medicare,
Yeah.
Okay. So you pay that on everything.
Oh, wait. I mean, to go crazy, if you made $10 million,
Yes.
you pay that on
Yes.
the entire amount?
If you make that in salary, then you have to pay.
Wow.
Is it 2% or something?
That's not fair.
Well, that's what you do. And then on the other part, you only pay up to, I think it's 125 right now.
I think Social Security is 125.
Yeah, but they change that from time to time, what the maximum income is for that.
You know, I hate to say it.
Well,
because
Democrats are considering that if you have alternate retirement over a certain amount, taking away Social Security altogether.
Well, then that would be insane.
Well, I mean, they're saying rich people don't need it, basically.
Well, okay, but anyhow, what I was going to say is Social Security, even though I go, oh, man, you pay so much into it, you got to wait to take it out, blah, blah, blah. For a lot of people, man, it is great. There'd be so many people in a world of hurt, they'd never be able to retire without it.
No, you're right. Now, there are ways we could get better at it.
Yeah, like if they invested it, wouldn't it be nice if they set your own Social Security up like a 401k? You couldn't get too aggressive with it, but you could pick certain things.
Within a family.
Yeah, within a family, just like a company would do on a 401k.
That would be something that they can consider.
But then they couldn't dip into the money because it would be your own account. They couldn't steal from you.
And right now, borrowing from Social Security is one of the main things the government, that's their main source of funds, one of them. Now, I talked about a survey. I'm looking for it here.
Hey, Tom, while we're on financial
This will be
stuff,
interesting.
let me just put in a good word for Bank of the West. Remember we had somebody call and they couldn't get into the safety deposit box?
The safe deposit box.
Safe deposit box or safety deposit box, depending.
It's a deposit box for safety.
For safety,
but a safe deposit box.
You're the boss, so it's safety deposit box. I don't care what Mark says.
Safe.
Safe deposit box.
He's right.
Anyway, Glenn called them back, and he has an appointment tomorrow at 2:30 to meet with the bank manager at the Littleton branch to get into a safe deposit box.
Why do you think it was such a problem?
I think there was just some miscommunication, because both times that I spoke to Melissa over at the Lone Tree branch, she said, just have him call and we'll get an appointment. At any rate, the appointment is set up for tomorrow, 2:30, and if it doesn't come off, he'll let us know.
All right, now I'm looking for the survey on the horniest cities. Here it is. Now that face masks are coming off, Americans are using their... oh, never mind. I don't want to say that. Are using their kissing... No, it does really say some cities have more pent-up sex drive. How did they ever find this out? It's a...
Maybe where porn was downloaded mostly.
It's a survey done comparing 200 of the biggest cities on 9 key indicators of sexual arousal. By the way, if you'd like, you can call us. I'll get right to you. I promise you I won't make you wait. 303-713-TALK. We just had a lull in the calls. 303-713-8255. Now, I don't know what the key indicators, they didn't actually say, but they said among some of the factors we looked at are share of the single population. I don't know what that means. The Google
how many people don't have a spouse or a significant other?
Okay, right. How many single people? Also, Google search results, not results, queries. Google search queries in regions.
This seems like it would be easy.
So in other words, if you're searching for adult stuff or porn stuff, does Google know everything you search for? God heavens, no.
Is it just U.S.?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
American. Now, in addition to Google search interest, single population, it's sex toy sales and other habits.
Yeah, you've described one city so far. It's got to be in my head.
Now, the number one horniest city, according to these key indicators. Now, there's a lot more indicators that we did not highlight, and they don't tell you. And it's based on 800 U.S. adults. Oh, in addition to the search query results, sex toy sales, the singles population, and other dating habits, they also surveyed across the nation 800 U.S. adults. Okay, and here is what they found. Number one, the number one horniest city. What would you say it is?
San Francisco.
It's got to be Las Vegas.
It's in Nevada, but it's paradise. Is that close to Vegas?
Well, I think that's where prostitution's legal.
Paradise
that's kind of a weird...
That's where the Bunny Ranch is.
Yeah, that's a weird one to put up. That's like the only place in the country prostitution.
Well, then that would be pretty logical.
At least that's what Dan told me.
That would be pretty logical because there's more sexual activity. I mean, that's pretty logical. Orange, California. Now, that's a city. It says city, Orange. I heard of Orange County. Is that a city? But they say Orange. The number 3, Hollywood, Florida. And then Providence, Rhode Island.
Huge gay population in Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, could be. Now, could be the factor. And the 5th horniest city, Atlanta, Georgia. Now, I should mention...
we all want to know where Denver ranks.
This does not necessarily correlate to the most attractive people, as you probably could tell. But hold on, and we'll talk about more. And also, I'll take Barbara's question on Social Security coming right up.
Where does Denver rank? Where does Denver rank?
It's not on the top.
Really?
It's not on the top.
Orange County is, or not Orange County.
Wait. No, it does the top 10 and the bottom 10.
Oh.
It's a city.
I don't know. I have to find out because we don't.
We're not either of those two, either top 10 or bottom.
I'm going to the website to find out.
I'll bet you the bottom has to be Salt Lake City.
It's because there's an RV park right there.
You think Salt Lake City knows more?
I was sure it was going to be Las Vegas. I mean, Las Vegas, every other thing's like a strip joint or an adult toy store or whatever.
But
and people go there to party.
But prostitution isn't legal in Vegas.
No. I don't know if they care. I mean...
Right. Oh, the full ranking. I'm pulling it up.
Currently,
Where's Commerce City, Colorado fall?
Some of the ugliest people. Wouldn't that be great if somebody...
All right, Tom, you're getting ready.
Somebody did a survey in the ugliest cities. It would have to be all in Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. We don't judge on that. I do.
Approval reverse mortgage, that's one of the teams we totally recommend for reverse loans. A reverse loan is living off the equity. It accrues against your house along with interest, but it'll never accrue to be more than the house is worth. It's total security for those 62 and older. The older the better, the more access you have to equity. Sometimes you do it just not to have a payment. At other times you do it because you want extra money, a line of credit for safety or emergencies. Whatever your need, approval, reverse mortgage, 303-771-3528. They're also on referralist.com. Now, I'm going to give you a website to go to make an appointment for floor coverings. Tell them what you're interested in. They'll bring whatever you want. Here's the point. They carry all the major floor coverings, all of them. So whatever you're interested in, they're going to have. And they're going to have better installers, better people, better financing, better warranties. It's a better experience. SimplyFloorsInc.com. That's INC. SimplyFloorsInc.com.
So we were at this pretty, I won't say fancy, but a nice dinner with couples. And the woman starts telling this story. This is true as it gets. And she is convinced of this. And her husband's right there. She starts telling the stories to Suzanne and I and the other 3 or 4 couples about how her husband accidentally, she saw something on his credit card bill, and it was the Bunny Ranch. He accidentally went there thinking it was a restaurant. And she is so fucking serious, I can't believe it. And I'm looking, and finally,
he said it was
he was right there. Yeah, he's playing along like, oh yeah, I was stupid. I couldn't believe I did that. And I said,
right before church.
Yeah. So we're at this dinner, and I look at Suzanne, and she's giving me like, don't fucking do it. And I said, I couldn't stop it. I said, you got to be kidding me. There is no way I'm the only one at this table that believes a guy could accidentally walk into the Bunny Ranch thinking it's a restaurant.
You went for the buffet.
I went right for the fucking jugular, man. I couldn't fucking believe it. It caused a fucking brouhaha.
If there was a charge, then he's lying.
Well, of course there was a charge. That's how she saw it. And I'm like, oh yeah, $300 fucking sandwich?
Mark, did you know these people well?
I did not know them very well. We went there with some friends we knew very well. Let's put it this way. They didn't know fucking me. How's that?
No,
I couldn't believe it.
You could have went there and like bought a T-shirt and stuff like that, but it wouldn't be not the $300.
Yeah, and you wouldn't tell your wife you thought it was a restaurant.
Right.
Well,
and you could tell he was sitting there going, oh shit, I can't believe she's bringing this up, because someone's not going to believe this shit.
Did it say Bunny Ranch on the receipt?
I don't know what it
Or
says.
is it like the strip joints where they changed the...
Right.
I don't
they say J&B...
Pussycat Theater. I don't know.
I drove into the... Oh shit, what's the one up by Reno? And it's all trailer houses there, and I was going to buy a T-shirt there, but then I didn't have walls to go in.
Was it a...
It was a whorehouse.
Yeah? Legal?
Yeah, up by Reno on the way, because I was in Sacramento.
I thought the Bunny Ranch was the only...
No, this wasn't Bunny. Oh, no.
I think there's a bunch of them.
Mustang. It was a Mustang Ranch.
In that county, right? Whatever county it is.
Right.
Can anyone explain to me what the critical race theory is?
Yes.
What
the
is
critical race theory is the fact that white privilege...
Don't say the fact. The theory.
No. I'm saying this is what they're saying, that white racism, white advantage has been inculcated into our culture ever since the start of our country.
Even before the start of our country.
Well,
it kind of was.
1600 and whatever.
And that influences everything, and that we need to deprogram children so that they understand the influence of white racism in our history and how we can combat it.
There's nothing really.
They're trying to deprogram
but there's nothing
and reprogram.
Right.
Well, not with the thought. I think the way they're doing it, because it's almost reverse racism. Now the white guy is an evil bastard. Is it evil? Yeah, but they're not really teaching that. They're not saying that. But they're saying every white person is racist, right? Even if we don't know we are.
Exactly. And you should be ashamed of it.
But the thing about it is, back then, white was right.
And not only that, you know,
because slaves were sold by black people to the whites.
Well, I didn't live back then, but I know that.
Whites instituted it.
Oh, you bet, they were doing it, but the slavery was all over the world.
You know what?
But not only that,
we're like in the what's her name, Cleopatra or whatever. Didn't she have slaves? Even like white slaves,
absolutely.
Right?
Everybody
built the pyramids.
They dominated any
slavery was the first profession,
right?
Even before prostitution.
There you go. Even if you dominated a country, you took the people.
And the other thing is, whether you like it or not, rich white guys wrote the Constitution, wrote the Declaration of Independence. You can't change that. You can say that they were racist, but the fact is they were the ones.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK. Silverleaf Mortgage is another fine reverse mortgage place we highly endorse, silverleafmortgage.com. They have a nonprofit foundation to help you get ready for the reverse loan, to get a better appraisal. And they give low-income people some low-interest loans, no-interest loans, or even grants. Silverleafmortgage.com, 720-REVERSE. 720-REVERSE. So welcome to the show. Let's help you any way we can. Get your calls in. We have open lines, 303-713-TALK. Barbara, welcome. What's going on, Barbara?
Hi, I have a question. You and Mark were talking about what they might start doing to Social Security. How could they, if you have earned it or if it's been taken out all of your whole working life, how could they not give that to you if you're above a certain income, as you guys were talking about?
Well, they already do.
They're not doing that yet. They're not doing that yet, but there was discussion.
All they have to do is vote on it and pass it and get it signed.
There was discussion that if you're super rich, you won't need it, and why should you get it if you have a certain net worth? And I don't even know how they would figure that. There's also discussion, Barbara, listen, whenever you have $6 trillion being spent, you got to pay for it somewhere. And again, all government looks to look for taxes, some more aggressive than others. Here's the deal, though. There was discussion on taxing retirement plans. Now, we do pay tax when we take the money out ultimately, but they're talking about the earnings that we earn tax-free now that would be taxed. And that would be devastating. That would be devastating if they went someone to admit that their policies are hurting people. And they will ignore that fact and absorb some of that pain. I really believe that, Mark. I really believe that people will ignore pain in order to be politically correct. But maybe not.
To a degree, I agree with you.
Let's talk now, Barbara. So I don't think there's an immediate danger of them taking away Social Security from the wealthy.
You know, there probably would be a court argument. The problem is it depends on who's in the court. I mean, that's the other thing that's getting strange with our country is really depending on what judges you're in front of is different outcomes. How many times do
with the same law?
Yeah, with the exact same law. It's crazy, and I'm talking just federal courts. I mean, it'll bounce from one to the next to the Supreme Court, and everybody's got a different decision.
That's right.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be that way.
No, it's not.
That is the one thing in this country that's not supposed to be political.
And the media is not supposed to be political. It really wasn't supposed to be political. Did you ever know if Walter Cronkite was Democrat or Republican?
No
I never
idea.
Knew. I had no idea. I swear to God, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know up until, I don't know, even when CNN first started. Man, what a great example of journalism. When Ted Turner first started that network, I had no idea where they leaned.
Well, I don't think they leaned.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know when all this started. When did media become cheerleaders for their agenda? When did that happen? When did it happen where journalists now, they don't report news. They, honest to God, report with their angle, their agenda. I don't quite know when it happened.
I wonder if we'll get a third party at some point. Or, you know, I don't want to say legitimate, but a third party that can actually get at least a third of the vote somewhere.
Or maybe have balance. In other words, say, you know what, on these social issues, leave people alone. On these economic issues, let's give people a break. Or on these things, let's do a little bit of both.
Yeah, truly people in the middle. Truly.
And it's not so much in the middle. It's more of a meandering. It's left and right. I don't even know if there's a such thing as the middle, but it's more of a fluid opinion.
There's so many representatives that they'll go back to wherever they're from and they'll talk to their constituents, and then when they go back and vote, they're not even voting the way these people elected them to go.
That's right. Anthony, what happened to your U-Haul? Now, is this a U-Haul truck that you rented?
No, it was a U-Haul hitch and a wiring system for a trailer that was installed on my wife's Jeep.
Oh, so wait a minute. So hold on. Yeah. Somebody installed a box or a junction box on the Jeep, and that caught fire?
No, it almost caught fire. We had a fuse pop. They got an inline fuse that goes, or a power line that goes up to the battery for a direct source of power. The inline fuse on that power supply popped, so I replaced it. It popped again.
Okay, who put this in, Anthony? Who put this in?
It was a U-Haul on Victor Street or Victor Place down in Colorado Springs.
So the trailer wiring kept popping circuits or breaker.
Yep, and then that junction box that you're talking about, basically melted it, basically.
Okay, and whose fault is that, do you think? Do you think it's a defect in the vehicle, or do you think the way they wired it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've been trying to go to dealerships, and I've been getting the runaround at a dealership out here in Fort Morgan. So I got an appointment for next week.
Well, how much? There can't be that much damage, right, Anthony? It just melted a junction box?
Well, they're saying that because in that vehicle, everything's connected to the ECU, the lights.
No, I understand, but they have plenty of fuse protection before it would burn out that computer.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, but with what I've described to them, everyone is fearful that it actually affected the computer.
See, what you're describing, Anthony, here's the problem with electrical protection. Most electrical protection is for shorting and not for slow burns. There are certain kinds of shorts that are so, well, except with new electronics, they don't usually get by, but there are some that are slow burns and don't actually trip anything, but just overload the system. And that's what you're describing, where the junction box melted before it actually tripped. However, without a spike of voltage. See, a spike in voltage doesn't necessarily cause a melting. A spike in voltage could, but a spike in voltage is quick, and what you're describing is slow because it was warm and hot and kept tripping. I'm wondering if your computer was broke. It's easy to figure out. They can tell you in 5 seconds.
I wouldn't bring it to a dealer. Sheridan Auto Tech bought Lakewood Electric. I mean, it's going to be half the price.
I mean, Anthony, first you have to verify if your computer is burned out. I hope they're not setting you up for this, where they're trying to get you, warmed up to the idea of changing out the computer. But if
that's why I'm calling,
Okay, where are you located, Anthony? Where are you located?
Out in Wiggins.
Wiggins. Okay, you're definitely going to have to come into town somewhere. Hold on, we'll discuss it.
Where is Wiggins? It's just near Bennett out there, right?
Isn't that where you guys went to see that restaurant?
Oh, my God. Yes.
Where is that?
This guy wanted to buy this bar. You were gone for 2 weeks, so I was doing the show. The guy fucking calls in and says, I want to buy this bar. And I'm going, oh, okay, well, here's different things you look at any business. Would you mind looking at some of them with me and meet me there? So I agreed to it, and like a dumbass, I never asked where it is. I'm thinking it's in Denver. It's in Wiggins.
Did you drive there?
Yeah, so I drive all the way out there.
You and Suzanne?
East on Suzanne. Yeah, forever, man. You're basically going to Kansas. I mean, it's very far.
It's almost a Fort Morgan.
So
it's not.
Hold on, you got a spot. Oh, wait to hear the end.
Mattress Firm's best Memorial Day sale ever has been extended for. Save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sealy and Ladies. Plus, get a free adjustable base with your $6.99 mattress purchase.
So I just started there.
Monthly. I use them monthly, and they come to my home and administer IV treatments, and I don't pay any more than I would pay at an IV bar or an IV hydration, whatever you call a store. I go at home and call Rocky Mountain IV Medics, and they send a medical professional to my home, Rocky Mountain IV Medics. I really, really love these people. They do such a great job. So, if you need hydration, RockyMountainIVMedics.com, RockyMountainIVMedics.com. And here's the deal. It doesn't cost you any more than doing it at a hydration bar. So get it at home, whether it be for a hangover, you're not feeling good, maybe just hydration, vitamins, whatever you need. 720-987-2155. Call or text, even same-day appointments. 720-987-2155. If you need estate planning, we all do. What do you mean if you need it? But you should call Blake Harris Law. It's very easy to remember. It's 833-ASK-BLAKE. He doesn't charge for answering your questions, and then he devises an estate plan, which is all about protecting you while you're alive as well as when you pass. It can even protect you from going broke from long-term care. Special trust that can protect your assets so your spouse doesn't go broke while you're in long-term care or vice versa. 833-ASK-BLAKE. Get help in planning your estate and getting things done. Flat rate pricing on everything. That's BlakeHarrisLaw.com. 833-ASK-BLAKE. And you can even find him in the new consumer magazine, 303consumer.com. Download your digital copy and read his centerfold article about the 10 mistakes in estate planning. That's 303consumer.com. 833-ASK-BLAKE. Also at referralist.com.
So we get all the way there. We drive in the middle of nowhere. It's like 6:30 on a Friday, okay? 6:30 on a Friday, you think a fucking bar in Wiggins that has 2 or 3 bars in it is going to have people, right? We get there. There's 2 fucking people there. One you can tell, he's a bar fucking fly. He lives at the bar. He's probably there for the breakfast burrito. And then the other one's at the bar, too.
What time was it?
6:30 p.m.
On Friday.
On a Friday.
No one
there. So I sat down, and this person lived up by there and said, well, we're going to do this and turn it into a biker bar. And I go, biker bar? So you think all these bikers from Denver are going to drive up to Wiggins to get fucking shit canned and then drive back to Denver? I said, you are crazy.
It would
be the dumbest investment they ever fucking made ever.
Wasn't it be like their retirement money and stuff?
It was. He was going to do it out of his 401k.
We can talk about it.
I fucking sure. I did that night. Ultimately, I don't know what they
Does Wiggins have a population like 30 people?
Oh my God, there's no one there.
Yeah.
And he keeps going, I keep going, why would bikers show up there?
Well, it's like saying almost to Fort Morgan.
Dude, it was so far from Franktown. It's a long fucking way.
How'd you go up there?
Not the way we should have. I should have went the back way.
No, I-76.
I think I should have went through Elizabeth, don't you, though? I remember getting back going, shit, I might have went through Elizabeth, would have been quicker.
Population 1,200.
Well, you're not going to have a bar with that many people in Wiggins.
No, and then the next towns are like that, too.
Yeah.
There's how far is Fort Morgan?
Yeah, but there's probably bars in Fort Morgan.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. 1,200, that's 10 times bigger than my home.
And it was one of these, so all they served too was, you know, they didn't have any drafts, it's all bottles, and they had the frozen pizza.
And for popcorn.
I didn't see popcorn.
Damn.
I couldn't believe these people were looking at this. And I'm like, they're like, oh, we come here all the time. I said, well, there's no people there. And they're like, yeah, but we're going to turn it into a biker bar. A biker bar.
Let me tell you, people think owning small bars is like fun and stuff.
You know, the stagecoach lives and dies on weekends by the weather.
There's fights. There's drunks.
Yeah.
If we go there, man, we'll get a pizza to go. If it's a nice Saturday or Sunday, there'll be 100 bikes out front. If there's rain, it's fucking empty. They live and die by the weather at those biker bars.
Sure. Oh, you bet.
You know what else used to be?
But how does the biker bar fucking work? How do you go and drink when you're on a bike?
I don't know. I've always kind of wondered
really. I mean, how do you fucking drink?
Some of those guys that have been riding their hogs forever, dude, they fucking, I'm telling you,
but you're
they
still
can drive.
legally drunk.
Yeah, you're definitely.
I mean, so those people can't really buy more than 2 drinks.
Yeah, but if the cops have the if the cops have the balls to stop them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, okay, let's face it. There's 2 kinds of biker bars. There's the ones where, you know, the business guy who bought a fucking $20,000 Harley takes it out on the weekends. Then there's the biker bars where there's fights and the biker bitches and everything else.
Love the biker bitches.
Well, the biker inn used to be.
No offense to any biker women out there. I wonder what the real bikers think of, you know, what I would call the poser bikers.
They don't go there. They just
they go to different bars.
I don't know. I think a lot of those in those gangs and stuff, there are regular people. Or
like an accountant.
Yeah.
Hi, Tom Martino.
303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Anthony, here's the deal, okay? If you have a problem, you got to get it analyzed, and then you got to pin the blame where it is. But I have some very obvious questions. When was this installed by U-Haul?
A little over 3 years ago.
See, that's the problem. When was the fire or when was the incident? When did it start tripping?
3 weeks ago.
It would never happen after 3 years. It wasn't installed wrong. You can't have an electrical problem go on for 3 years and all of a sudden starts tripping breakers. So I'm going to venture to say it's not that. That's where it manifested, but it's not that. Were you guys hauling in between? Was this the first time you ever used it?
No, we've hauled before and we've never had any issues. This is the first time that we've had anything happen.
Okay. Then I don't think it happened. I don't think it has to do with that box at all. There's a junction box, and all that just box is a safety area, a covered area where they connected to the wiring of the vehicle. And if it was working before, it doesn't all of a sudden go bad. It just doesn't. So it could have been a loose ground. It could be a wire broke and shorted to the frame. It could be something, just you need someone who does electrical repair, and that is Sheridan Auto Tech is the best one around so far. They bought up Lakewood Auto Electric, the practice, they have the equipment. That's what I would do. I would go there and see, but you're way out. Did you say you're in Wiggins?
He's going to have to tow it.
Well, the problem, Tom, that I'm having right now is I got the vehicle running, but the problem is gone a little further than just that junction box. In 3 weeks, I've had 3 alternators and 3 batteries put in that car.
You got a serious problem, man. Listen, you may not want to drive it, and towing it's going to be expensive, but I don't know who's out there in Wiggins or Fort Morgan or anywhere, or even Greeley that can fix it. I don't know of anyone. There might be people. I would hesitate to go to Greeley because there are a bunch of crooks there, but I don't know any. I really don't know where to refer you.
Is that Drylanders Tavern still open there?
No.
Hey, hold on. Refinancing because you think it's a hassle?
That's funny. That was what it was called.
That's funny.
It's gone.
Oh, didn't she say it was a piece of crap building too?
Dude, it was so bad. The building basically had a fascia. Can you picture an old movie set where there's like just something barely put together, but then the fascia says saloon,
and there's nothing behind it?
Yeah, there was something behind it. It was that.
Thanks to our digital technology platform, we can handle this entire process.
I remember after you guys did that, that was kind of fun.
God, it was so far away.
They were so pissed off.
I never, in fact, here's what I thought. I remember now. I was thinking Watkins, and I'm going, well, that's not too bad. But it wasn't Watkins. It was Wiggins. Man, I used to go to that. Did you ever bring your bike out to that track in Watkins, man? That's a fucking blast.
Why Watkins?
It's just a big dirt track for dirt racing. It's huge. They got 3-4 different courses out there.
Where's this one? Is this right on 470?
No, Watkins. No, it's way bigger than the one. I mean, way bigger.
You rode I think that stuff's pretty dangerous. You better be a good rider and stuff, huh? Riding those tracks?
I've ridden a lot of them. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, of course, man. I thought you did too.
No,
I don't jump. I mean, I jump, but I don't jump like some of these guys that are 30, 40 feet in the air. I'll go from like, even on a quad, I'll jump 20 feet from bump to bump.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You got to know your vehicle more than anything, because you come down on the front side of that thing, man, you'll bust your shocks, or you'll bust your leg. I've known plenty of guys, though, that they'll hit those, on those big tracks, like at Watkins on the main track. I mean, they'll get 40, 50 yards, man.
Don't they sound like a fucking broken record? Climate change, systemic racism, Black Lives Matter. I mean, like everything they're doing, defund police. I mean, all of these issues are in the big fucking bucket, and they just keep repeating them over and over and over.
Did you hear that one lady got kind of forced out of the Black Lives Matter stuff because she built up a $3.2 million house portfolio?
Off the money they took in.
And they took in like $100 million from all these businesses and stuff.
Oh, she became wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there was something else.
She got to keep the money, though, didn't she?
There's some companies that never came through with what they pledged. We got to find a list of that.
Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, they would pledge like, we're going to do 1,000 new black hires. We're going to up this, or we're going to donate this. I mean, whatever it was, at the onset of that stuff, a lot of companies promise shit.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If you have unfiled taxes or are injured,
but even the way they gave the money to the BLM, it went through a third party so they could still write it off. This wasn't just, post-tax dollars.
You guys haven't seen, I know Dan hasn't, but actually the only one here that might have seen it is Tom.
What?
Cruella.
No, I didn't. Is it good?
I don't know. I'm looking at this.
that a Disney?
No.
Isn't that a Disney thing from 101 Dalmatians?
Yeah, it's a prequel. Yeah. It is. It's a prequel. But it's not a cartoon, Doc.
They, by the way, Tom,
It actually looks pretty good.
Tom, 7 states have outlawed transgender women in women's sports.
But only Republican governments, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It probably is.
Wasn't that Connecticut? That was that one?
Yeah.
No. Did they give them a scholarship? She lost her scholarship, right? Or did
Well, no, she didn't qualify for one because.
So did they give the transgender guy?
I don't know.
That would be a good question to ask.
103. More fans are going to be allowed to watch the Avs and Nuggets playoff run. Funky Sports Now.
Hey, you watch the Avs last night?
Guess they barely beat, huh?
Well, I'll tell you, the first game on Sunday night, it looked like they were playing an amateur team.
Right, or they beat them like 10-1 or
7-1, and it wasn't even that close. Last night was a great hockey game. Both teams.
But they still won, right?
Yeah.
Did we change anything?
No, we did. But
they changed.
But Las Vegas looks so much better.
Well, they dominated on shots on goal.
Yeah.
They said our goalie is what really did it.
He stopped 36 out of 38 shots. But you got to think in hockey, almost as much as any other sport, the altitude has to play a role. Those guys are so winded.
Say that again.
I said hockey. I think in almost any other sport the altitude has to be a factor.
Oh, absolutely.
Those guys are running full.
Well, same with basketball.
I don't think as much. The court's not as big.
Well, geez, I don't know.
Well, look at football. You're talking about 300-pound guys.
Yeah, but they're not doing it constantly.
I know, but you can keep them on the field.
Yeah.
If you ran a no-huddle offense,
that's why
did it, and you can keep them on the field.
That's why
totally gas.
That's why the Broncos have so many fourth-quarter comebacks. But because the defensive players are winded by the middle of the fourth quarter.
Well, I always said why Peyton Manning, who was smart enough, didn't constantly when he was home run no huddle.
Well, geez, man, he won the fucking Super Bowl. Whatever he did worked.
He didn't do very good that year. It wasn't him that won that Super Bowl. It was the defense that won the Super Bowl. You look at his stats that year, last year. They were horrible.
Defense.
Horrible stats.
You probably don't like Brady either, do you?
No, Brady did good. I'm saying Peyton Manning and that in his first few years he had great stats. That year, look at the
All I can
stats.
say is he won. He stepped up for the fucking Super Bowl and won it.
Okay. Good thing you're not commenting on sports all the time.
That's probably true.
Don't you have a sports show on the radio?
What do they? What's that ball those hockey players hit?
But here's something. So my alma mater, the Fighting Sioux, Fighting Hawks now. They played and they were rated this last year #1.
In what sport?
Hockey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Over DU?
Oh, jeez.
Over
DU
Minnesota?
GU. Oh, yeah.
DU's one of the best now, though.
Well, not this year they weren't, but anyway. So they were #1. They played a team that because the team that they were supposed to play, they had a day off. They lost in 5 overtimes.
Wow.
But they played the night before. Can you imagine?
Oh.
So the other team didn't play the night before, but they did. That's not even fair.
It's not.
5 overtimes.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's like another game and a half.
Yeah, that's unreal. Luckily, last night it only lasted about 3.5 minutes.
I've been to 2 Avs games way back in the day where it gets to the point with overtime they each take a shot from the middle or
That's
something.
in the regular season. After a 5-minute overtime, a 4-on-4,
yeah.
If nobody scores, then they do the penalty shots.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. We have wide open lines you can get right through. So come on in and get the help that you need. This hour brought to you by HarrisFamilyLaw.com. If you're looking for divorce help, they do what's called collaborative law, which means they try to avoid conflict any way they can by helping to get agreements from the other party that they won't escalate issues and file motions out of anger. It's a really good process. It's called collaborative law. And Harris Family Law also does what's called an early neutral assessment. If you call them and say, I'd like to meet with you and do this, they They go through a divorce virtually without taking a side to let you know what you're in store for. It's really telling, and it can help you. So if you're looking to get a look at a divorce and what it will look like, even before you file or decide not to file. And also they do unbundled services. They can help you file certain things, and you do the rest or do some of the legwork to keep costs down. They're all about helping you through a very troubled time. HarrisFamilyLaw.com, 303-515-5000, 303-515-5000. Okay, so we have, as I said, open lines, and I mentioned this survey before, so I'll mention it again, on the horniest cities. And really, it truly is a complete study that was done, and they broke down what they called the horniest cities based on a number of factors, some obvious ones like sales of sex toys, and other ones which are interviews and surveys, and then others like what people searched on Google. Did they search a lot of sex-related topics? And then they scored these cities from 0 to 100 and found the most adult, or not most adult, what they call the horniest cities. And Paradise, Nevada, that's where prostitution is legal, and that's the #1 city. It might be obvious. Orange, California, #2. Hollywood, Florida, #3. Providence, Rhode Island is #4. And then Atlanta, Georgia. After that, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And then Newark, New Jersey. I mean, these are just all out of the blue. I have no idea. Dayton, Ohio. And then Tempe, Arizona. It's all over the place. Baltimore, Maryland. The 11th, Philadelphia. 12, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Then Toledo, Ohio. Richmond, Virginia. Pomona, California. Rochester, New York. Yonkers, New York.
Where does Denver come in, Tom?
I'm looking. 18 is New Orleans. 19, San Bernardino.
We've got no pizzazz.
I know. 20 is Detroit, or maybe just taste, huh? 21, Kansas City. 22, Escondido. What do you call that? Yeah, what you said. What? Say it again.
Escondido.
Yes, Escondido.
Hey,
California.
Don't keep us hanging. Where's Denver?
I'm looking. #3. I didn't go down for that. Okay, #23, Pittsburgh. Then Garden Grove, California. Tampa, Florida is #25. Patterson, New Jersey. What? 26.
You know why these cities are there, Tom? Because there's nothing else to do in those cities.
Buffalo, New York's 27. So.
Or they're college towns.
Hialeah, Florida, 28. Then listen to this. Murfreesboro, Tennessee is #29. #30 is Cleveland. Okay, where is Denver?
Where's the Villages in Florida? What town's that?
The Villages?
Yeah, the Villages. It's like the largest retirement community in the freaking country.
Highest rate of STDs as well.
They get more STDs. No. They get more STDs than anybody.
Are you sure of that?
I am sure of that.
Is it in Miramar, Florida? That's #33. Washington.
I'm going to look.
By the way, Washington, D.C. is 32. Let's go down to San Francisco, 35. I would have thought that was way higher. And then Palmdale, California. Las Vegas, Nevada, #37. Then Arlington, Worcester, Massachusetts, Moreno Valley, California. Mobile, Alabama, St. Louis, Glendale, Arizona. I'm down to #48, Miami, Florida. We're still not at, Denver comes at not next to Miami, Florida, which is 48. #49, Akron. 50, Springfield, Missouri. Isn't that a college town? No. Anyway, 51, Syracuse, New York. 52, Denver. Denver is 52. 52.
Well, that's not bad. How many cities are in the freaking country? Like what, 10,000?
No, they only did 200, the survey.
Oh.
And so the least horny city in the whole country, according to them, because below
Salt Lake City,
below Midland, Texas.
Oh, Midland, Texas.
Cape Coral, Florida, was among them. But the highest or the lowest rank for sex, Midland, Texas. Midland, I don't know why. But anyway, isn't that weird? Isn't that weird, really? And by the way, they did some other very interesting kind of surveys on this. 303-7, I ought to tell you, we will take calls, of course, 303-713-8255, and we will go over some of the follow-ups. By the way, in addition to that, there are some things to note. Paradise was considered more sinful because of the legalized prostitution.
Yeah, that's kind of cheating.
And then Orange, California had most of the sex on the beach. So there's a lot of highlights on this study that are kind of weird. But anyway, if you're
How'd you exactly wander upon that, Tom?
It was sent to me. It was sent to me and said, you may want to look at this and for your audience. And then, of course...
Yeah, for
now,
the audience, Tom.
They're hoping that you'll mention where the survey come from. You know, these people do surveys in order to get hits on their website. So who do you think sponsored this study?
Oh, man. Lending Tree.
Trojan.
You mean the prophylactics?
Yeah.
No. It was actually Lawn Starter. A lawn starter.
It was clickbait.
For lawn, right. But it got people interested.
Have you ever hit clickbait? And then the one they show you, like, they'll say, this guy, you'll never guess who gained 400 pounds over COVID. And they'll show a movie star. And you'll go to look at it, and you never see it. Or else you got to go through the whole thing.
Now, as far as shipping sex toys and buying sex toys, the #1 city for buying sex toys, Providence, Rhode Island. Weird.
I told you, that's because they have a huge gay population.
What does that have to do with sex toys?
Well, I think they probably use a lot of sex toys.
Did they? That was pretty common.
Ask Mark, he'll know.
I don't know. Moreno Valley, California is #2. And then #3 is Yonkers, New York for sex toys.
Yonkers.
Now, what do you think per resident, per capita, has the most adult entertainment stores and facilities? Like
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Paradise, Nevada, again.
Oh,
per
well,
capita.
it's not fair.
Hold on. Per capita, it is. Well, they have more
people go there simply to get laid. That's the entire reason it is there.
#2 is Las Vegas, so you're right. But I don't get this. Patterson, New Jersey is #3.
No idea. Doc?
Like I said, there's nothing else to do in Patterson, New Jersey.
The most STDs per capita.
That's got to be that place in Florida.
It says Jackson, Mississippi, #1.
That's weird.
It says Baltimore is #2. Now, this was just done post-pandemic. And #3, San Francisco, California. These are very interesting. I mean, it's not, as I said, meant to be kind of...
Tom, with the STDs, unless they survey doctors, the data is meaningless.
Well, I don't know. I mean, how do you know?
Because I don't think people are going to be honest about whether or not they had an STD. They don't know if they had an STD.
Oh, I don't know where they got that data, for goodness sakes. I have no idea. All right, 303-713-8255.
I was going to say with Midland, Texas, that's because they didn't survey the sheep. But I didn't know if I could go on the air with that. Would that have been bleeped out, Mark?
No. So, Mark, let me tell you. So, Peyton's last year, his quarterback rating was 44.2.
Wow. Well, I mean, if you go by that.
He had 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions.
Frank Duran. What about him, Mark? He's great, man. He sold our home. Okay, so he listed it on a Friday because he wanted to do that. I think we contacted him and signed the agreement on a Monday, and he wanted to wait till Friday because he's smart. For whatever reason, there's more people there. He actually priced it, Tom, lower than I knew we could get for it, and then I found out
He did that on purpose.
He did it on purpose. He got a bidding war, a frenzy, if you will, and we ended up getting more for our exact model than other ones in the neighborhood, over 30,000, 40,000 more.
Don't think because it's a great market, you don't need a great broker. You do, even more so, because you do have so many offers to go through. He knows which ones are likely to close and who will get you the most money and how to get the most money. Ask him about his price bracketing and how he does that. FrankDuran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622.
Chlamydia and syphilis, 87% up in population over 65 years old. It's one of the fastest growing in the country.
Well, you know why? Because people who are in that age don't worry about pregnancy, so they don't use contraception.
Well, and plus, most of them, there's a lot of them, the older you get, you don't have a spouse, of course, so
Right.
you're moving and grooving.
Absolutely. But I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah. That's crazy, though. Isn't that funny?
It is. It's like you say, retirement homes and stuff. It's
Well, you don't use a condom when you fool around now, do you?
No, Big Man, when he first came to Denver, was fucking awesome. And his last year, he had a hurt neck.
Well, the only thing that counts is that W in the Super Bowl.
No, I agree.
Nothing else.
But their defense is the one that.
Yeah, but I say he has a W next to his name. He has Super Bowl rings. He was MVP of the first one, right? And wasn't Von Miller was the MVP of the second one?
No. They weren't. There wasn't a second one. They were in 2 Super Bowls, but they lost to Seattle in that first one they were in.
He's like a quiet.
But he was MVP when he was in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. They were both
Sure, I
both
saw
were first.
You know, Sinner we were talking about, I didn't realize, so we just finished the first one. It was great. I loved it. But I didn't realize season 2, it's an entirely new story plot.
I didn't see season 2.
Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with the girl anymore. It's like that's over. Season 2 is a completely different thing.
Is Jessica Biel not in it?
I don't believe Jessica Biel's in it, but I do believe it's the same cop, but I'm not sure.
What show is that?
The Sinner.
Oh.
The one with Jessica Biel was really good. It fell apart a little towards the end, but I liked it.
That's like true crime. Every year, true crime.
Oh, so you watched it. So the next one isn't the same cop.
He didn't.
No, I'm saying true crime. Every
Oh, I know. The one that had Woody Harrelson was my favorite. I think it
the
was
one with Chris Rock was great.
I didn't see that yet.
That's the latest one.
I have to watch that.
Really good.
And that's Showtime.
I don't know what it's on.
I know. I always forget that shit too. I got HBO, Showtime, Cinemax.
Well, I have my package, and then my son has Prime Video, so I just use his Prime Video account for all that other stuff.
Both you, well, not you yet, but you got to use your kid's college one, man. Holy shit, is it cheap?
I stopped Netflix.
You just go to whoever you're signing up for, and you hit the college link, and you need to have his email. But here's the cool part. After he approves it, when he gets his college email, you can use any email to sign in and out. You don't have to use your college email on most of them.
That's Hulu, and you get HBO with it.
The best one has student number. Hulu, you get Hulu and Showtime, I believe, is $8 a month.
Is that good? Is that including live?
No, fuck no. Oh, okay. It's basic Hulu.
I got rid of my Netflix.
In fact, it's commercial.
Because I use my son's Prime Video.
But
Netflix
no matter
Prime
what,
Video.
you're still getting Showtime for $8 a month.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Well, that's not Netflix. That's not on Netflix.
No. You get when you sign up for Prime Video, you get Netflix.
No. You're thinking Prime Video.
Yes, I just said when my son has Prime Video, so I get Netflix. I stop my $14 a month Netflix.
No, I don't think you get Netflix.
No, you do. No,
you don't.
I'm telling you, I get Netflix with Prime Video.
No, there's two different. They're competing.
Yeah, they're
Netflix
competing
and
big
Prime
time.
Video compete.
I think you're thinking of Prime Video.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
But on Prime Video, I get Netflix.
You get movies, but not Netflix.
I guarantee you, I get Netflix.
Because I got Prime Video.
Maybe I'll look.
I'll take a picture of the
We
screen.
always think he's just quacky.
I'll take a picture of the screen.
Okay.
I'll take a screen.
Like I said, show you guys. That's competing. In fact, did you know Amazon just bought MGM, right?
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Let's talk to Mark. Mark, what's going on with you? And we got plenty of time for calls, 303-713-TALK. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to ask you if you heard anything back from that guy in the mountains who paid cash for a new roof, and it was leaking in the rain, and if Golden Spike ever went.
Oh, wait a minute. Whatever happened?
I'm sure Spike went out there, and let me tell you why, because we haven't heard back from the guy. He was pretty annoyed.
Yeah, I remember that. You're right. And but we did tell the guy to let us know if he had a problem.
He was pretty upset, but on the other hand, I mean, I don't remember ever getting a complaint on Spike, ever. Not once.
We don't.
No, I remember. I just thought he handled it too casually, in my opinion. It wasn't.
Well, he did. He basically said, I'll be out there when I can.
Yeah, I didn't like it that much, but I didn't think it was terrible. But, again, we don't get any complaints. So, Mark, what else? What other follow-ups? Anything else?
Yeah, there was a hoarder in Cheyenne who had the city coming down on him for his yard, and I wondered if...
Oh, yeah. Now, what did we do with that?
Someone went out and helped him.
Dollar is on for to give an update on that.
Actually, you know what? His name was Philip, right? Or something like that?
That's exactly right.
Listen, Mark, just listen. Hang on and listen, because I believe that's what Deputy Dollar is on the air for. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Deputy Dollar, or I'll call you Buck. Get it? Anyway, what's going on?
Well, Philip he has a couple issues. I don't know if he ever cleaned up his place or not. I called him after I got the extension from the city of Cheyenne.
Yeah.
And then since then I've worked with him because he owns a rental property in Nebraska that's like 45 minutes from Cheyenne. But I kept reminding him. I said, "You got to do this, or the city's going to come down." And I have not heard back from him. Since then, I've heard from him about this rental property and his issue with Dish Network or something about not returning all the parts.
So this guy, for folks listening, the city went to, and they were basically telling him he's got to pick stuff up or they're going to do it and charge him.
But he was a serious hoarder.
Oh, big time. He had a homeless person living in a car in his driveway. Remember that?
Yeah. Plus, he had several vehicles filled with junk.
He had about 4 days to get it done.
And he claimed they were his storage facilities because he couldn't keep everything in his house.
That's right.
It's amazing how much junk, and it's also amazing how important people think it is. It's just amazing.
Oh, that one I went out to, it wasn't even that long ago, a couple months ago. Did you see that video?
Yeah, that guy. Remember that guy?
Holy moly.
He called and we felt so sorry for him.
You could take Waste Management, 16 trucks, and dump it into a house, and that's what it looked like. And I don't know if that's hoarding or it's just disgusting, but it is hoarding. He wouldn't throw out, like, a magazine or old toilet paper. And I mean old toilet paper.
For sure.
Now, so you didn't hear from Philip then since you got him an extension?
No, I've talked to him about this rental property in Nebraska that he's trying to sell, and I called his realtor, and I said, I'm really concerned about Philip and what's going on, and
yeah,
I think Philip is maybe borderline
crazy
dementia.
Yeah. You can say it. He's crazy. He's crazy. No, that's okay. I mean, we don't mean it as a bad thing.
He's losing his mind.
Not a bad thing.
I just think the poor guy. I just think the poor guy basically has lost it as far as his grip on reality. Especially when he said he needed those storage facilities outside those old vehicles, in order to.
Well, it was the homeless, I guess it is homeless if you live in a car. It was the homeless one under the carport that I found amazing. And if you recall, the homeless person that lived in the car had pets.
Yeah, and then he was housing those pets.
Oh, yeah.
And so, the city really has to do something. They.
Suzanne and I went to a hoarder one time, Tom, from the show. And her complaint was this: the moving company put half of her stuff outside and refused to move in the house. So we get out there, and I'll be damned. She lived in a big 2-story house and downsized to a one-side trailer or whatever. So the only place they literally could put the stuff was outside. The entire inside was packed with boxes all the way in every room with just a little narrow hallway. And I'm like, well, where else were they going to put your stuff?
It is weird. And I want, Often hoarding is associated or starts with some traumatic event in their lives. In other words, they weren't like that their entire life. There was a time when they were completely, according to us, normal, and then they started hoarding. And
off of some experience.
Yeah, in almost every circumstance, there's an event or there's a trauma in their life or something that triggers it.
Dan, who was the one we all went to help her move? She turned on us at the end, but that was the first hoarder I ever saw.
She had a weird name.
Every single thing she hoarded. Doreen. They were all brand new things, like a brand new pleather purse from Montgomery Ward's. It would have the original tag on it from 30 years ago.
Hey, Deputy Dahl, you working on anything else?
Yes, I'm working on that Blue Sky roofing case with, her name is Irma.
Now, what's going on with Blue Sky?
Well, they installed solar panels on her house.
Yeah, and they were leaking, right? They were leaking.
Yeah, they're leaking.
And Excel Roofing said they did a poor job.
Yeah, and actually sent Mark a report, which I forwarded on to the city of Denver.
That's bad.
And I spoke.
And what's this $1,800 I have noted? Is that what it will cost to fix it?
That might have been what Excel said they would charge to fix it. But did the inspector go out and fail it after you sent that over?
No, it actually
probably passed.
Spoke to the inspector because of the holiday. The city of Denver got back to me Tuesday, and then I talked to Irma and said, you need to call this guy who's chief inspection officer, and I had to reach out to their PIO person or communication.
This sucks, though. She needs help. She still does.
Well, but is she going to call?
And
here's
what I want to know.
I spoke to her yesterday
No, it sounds like it's on the right path,
Okay,
though.
but what's up with Blue Sky Roofing?
It's on the right path.
What's up with Blue Sky Roofing? Why the hell are they getting a pass here? I mean, are they going to fix it?
Well, here's what I think. The city of Denver is going to fail it, and then I need to call this chief inspector and see what the next
pardon me, Scott. I think the problem was that the roofing issue caused some damage in the house that the insurance won't cover unless the roof is failed. So that's what we're working on getting her help with. I think.
Thank you very much. Michael, what's going on, Mike?
Good afternoon, guys. It's a callback on Doghouse Music. I got banned.
I want you to hold on. Hold on with that one, okay? I'm interested in this. He's blind. He was banned for calling too much, they said. But yet, the website was not accommodating to him, and we're going to follow it up. Mark, can you do these?
What are they?
Get down past a mile high, or, up Lake Harris Law.
All in one. Now, Impact Traffic. Is sponsored by
Lake Harris is 60.
And the usual volume on 270 through Culver City. Off Freeway, there's a crash at Colfax and Broadway. Fox 31 pinpoint weather, plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Good. You want me to swirl it around?
You.
10 seconds from I get that back. Are made from Ultrex fiberglass. Ultrex is a stronger, more modern frame that gives you more glass and bigger views. Enjoy more Colorado views and get 40% off. Call 1-800-NEW-VIEW.
You need to protect your legacy. You need to protect your assets. If you have maybe you've been divorced a few times and you have kids with different wives, anything like that, you want to leave money to who you want to leave your money and property to. You really do want to protect your legacy. I have personally dealt with Blake Harris Law. I called up, I talked to Blake for about 15, 20 minutes. I gave him our circumstance. He turned around and said, here's, Mark, what you need. You need a trust We need to do an updated will, and for some stuff, we got to do a beneficiary's deed for the house. And on top of that, he helped me out with my parents. And in Florida, where he can also do stuff, he can actually practice law in Florida and Colorado. He actually did a deed called a ladybird deed for my parents. That's going to help them protect themselves from Medicaid, if Medicaid ever comes after them. But basically, no one can avoid the high cost of long-term care if you get sick when you get older. But if you have a Medicaid asset protection trust, you can actually, save some of it. There's no doubt about it. But wills, trusts, power of attorneys, medical directives, beneficiaries' deeds, different plans to avoid probate. He does it all, and what I really like is after you tell him everything that he asks and kind of explain what you're looking for, he'll give you one flat rate price. He doesn't charge by the hour, and he came in at exactly what he said. He did a great job, and it was quick. 833-ASK-BLAKE, 833-ASK-BLAKE, or check him out at BlakeHarrisLaw.com. Now, Blake Harris, I think Blake actually uses them, since I'm tying these together. I'm not positive, though, but a lot of our referral list members use Get Found Fast. They have a website, and you might have a company or a website, and when someone Googles what you do, you want to come up on that first page, because let's face it, that's the best place to be. That is the most obvious place for people to find you and click through to go to your website and check you out. Get Found Fast will help you do it. And for free, they'll do a free consultation. You just call them up, they'll give you a Zoom meeting or however they do it. And the cool part is they're going to pull your website up. They're going to show you your Google panel. They're going to show you how people are finding you, what keywords. They're going to show you what the competition is doing. Then they're going to explain how they can help you. It's great, and it all starts at GetFoundFast.com.
If you've ever sold a home, you know it's a hassle. From the prep work to the open houses.
Merritt, maybe you got 3 ex-wives.
He's on meds too.
Listen, Big Lou, he's on number 8.
He's on only, he's on number 2.
But he's on meds too.
He's on meds.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah, I love when they say, if you're a smoker and you got cancer and all other kinds of shit, we can get you a life insurance policy for as little as $100 a month. What they don't tell you is the term of that life policy is probably 40 days
or 2 years or whatever. Yeah.
Let me tell you, they know the stats of your health record. Of course. They know you're going to die when they think you're going to die.
Well,
the only time they really pay out, the only time, is when shit out of the norm happens.
Accident.
And once they start doing DNA backgrounds on you, it'll all change again. It'll all change. If you have no risk for Alzheimer's, if you have no risk or predisposition for cancer.
I've never carried life insurance.
Oh, I did when I was married and I had a fracture.
I pay under $1,000 a year for either $1 million or $1.5 million, and I locked it in for 30 years.
What?
My life insurance. I locked in when I was 30 years old for 30 years, or maybe I was 35. 35 years. I locked it in for 30 years. I pay, I think, $850 a month.
$850 a month?
No, a year.
You said a month.
Oh no, a fucking year, man. And then Suzanne's got like $500,000 locked in for 30 years. Hers is like, $300 a year.
I have $5 million.
But they know 9 out of 10 times they're never going to pay.
What? I had when I was working. You get like double
as soon as I got divorced. And
a lot of those life insurance, you get an accident, you get a lot more.
But I had a policy.
I wonder how they define it.
I couldn't work as an overseas my end.
I guess just not a health, not like a heart attack or something.
Tax free. Oh yeah.
I'd argue. Well, she accidentally had a heart attack.
If I paid that, if I had that disability policy,
you think she had a heart attack on purpose?
It was tax free. If the corporation pays for it, I have to pay taxes on it.
Oh, you don't have to pay taxes.
Sheldon is asking for probation. If he got probation, the city would burn down.
Who?
Who's that?
Chauvin.
Who is that?
I don't know who that is.
George Floyd's murderer.
Oh, he's asking for what?
Probation.
He just got sentenced for.
Well, yeah, 30 years.
I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, asking for probation.
Well, how do you? Okay, well, everybody in jail is asking for probation.
You can, like I say, you can sue anybody. You can ask for anything.
Yeah, who did he ask? He asked his Sally. Hey, Sally up there.
So he says, "Yeah, I did the probation."
Sally said, "Yeah."
Oh, wow, he's probably in solitary.
Do you think there's anyone in the country that thinks Chauvin shouldn't have been punished? You think?
No.
Oh no. Well, like I say, I'm sure there is. We can say
Well,
anybody.
I'm not talking about the threat.
Here's what's going to be weird
I'm talking about normal people.
No way.
No.
There's going to be it's going to get strange here when you can sue officers on the job.
Yeah.
It's going to get very strange.
It should only be an egregious.
Well, I don't know how they define hazing.
But I mean, that guy, Jesus Christ, he wasn't even moving anymore.
No, that's anybody.
I don't even understand that. But it wasn't even fucking angry.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. So Michael is blind. He's a musician or he's a producer or whatever. He uses the studio. He said if the studio had a website that was accessible to him, he would be able to schedule studio time accordingly. But the website is not. Now, by the way, that's a whole different issue. ADA compliance with, or Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA compliance with websites, but certainly basic interface for someone deaf and blind and all of that. It should somehow be accommodated, right? With technology. His ability to make an appointment, he had to call. It's that easy. But they didn't want him calling, so they said you can't use the studio anymore. Am I portraying that correctly?
Well, they basically said he was a pain in the ass, right?
Because you called too much.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
Yeah, well, you guys got it right. Yeah, this is like the third time I've called. So yeah, we've got the details down. We just have to make communication and find out what their site is, so I can work.
Well, I thought we did this already.
We did. We called up, and they were going to reach out according to them and work something out.
On May 19th, generic email, and at the end, we'll be reaching out to the customer directly for further resolution.
Oh, and they did not.
They never called.
Never.
Well, let's call them again instead of email.
Now that sucks. Come on, man. It's not like the guy's
This
asking
is
for everything.
Style.
Huh?
This is why I have to call them and bug them. This is why I have. I've been working with the studio, different owners, but I've been working with them throughout the years for 15 years, and this is what you have to do. You really have to push.
Doghouse recording studio.
Why don't you use a different studio, man? It's evident they don't want to do business with you.
Mark, if I could, I would, sir. I'm in Boulder, okay, but don't hold that against me. So these guys are the closest ones to me, and because I'm blind,
I got you.
Pay for transportation.
God, I feel bad for him, but he's bugging the hell out of me.
Why not have another friend book online for you?
Oh, could you do that?
Yeah, you guys, that's how we're going to solve the issue. I hope that's the way we do it. But if they agree to it,
but what he's saying is he can't even do that now because he's not allowed in there, and that sucks.
Right. So I don't want to.
I mean, that sucks. They won't let him in there.
I'd love to hear their side. Let's try to call him.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't want him to turn into a bad guy. Right now, we're being patient. Let's call him right now. Let's see. You want Deputy Doc or you want to do it? Suze, you want to do it? Okay, 303-713-TALK.
I wonder if just ask him. I'm sure
Go ahead and ask him.
But did you leave the place a mess? Did you do something outside of calling every 10 minutes?
No. I criticize some of their. I'm a drummer, so I don't hold that against me either.
Hey.
But I consider.
I wish I knew a drummer.
I criticize some. You do. You know a ton of them right there at the radio station. Tom?
Yeah.
Anyway, I criticized their cymbals one day. I made a joke, but it might have hurt.
What was the joke?
Nothing.
What was the joke?
Criticized their cymbals.
It was Sabian cymbals. The Sabian, the way they got their name. On the way to the trade show, they didn't have a name. It's Joe Zildjian is a brother who did the offshoot of Sabian.
Right.
So they didn't have a name. They had 3 children, Sally, Billy, and Andy. They used the first 2 names of each name, and it came up with Sabian.
Oh, I thought Sabian was the Zildjian brother.
What's so funny about that, though? What is the joke?
Well, it's because it's named after their kids. It's not necessarily a joke. It's just, something that you would pass around at the bar.
But isn't it true, though, that the Zildjian and Sabian, they're brothers, right?
Yes, that's right. Joe Zildjian is the one who went off and did Sabian.
Right.
But he recently passed.
Ah.
So, yeah. Anyway, so I don't know, that's the only thing I can think
Did you ever notice a difference between the two symbols?
Yes, absolutely.
I love my preference is Zildjian. What about you?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a complete set of A customs, and that's why I'm a little particular about my gears, because I spend an exuberant amount of money on it. And then when I went to their studio, and if I'm subpar equipment, it gets me by barely, but it does work.
Oh, man. You can see why they don't want him coming in.
Oh, stop.
He's saying the equipment's no good. I'm not saying it's good equipment. I don't know anything about drums, but I think this is what we're going to hear from them.
By the way, what kind of drums do they have?
Oh, they've got good drums. Okay, so I know.
What kind? What kind, Michael? I'm just curious. What brand?
They got some Yamaha stage customs. They got from Pete, and that's another guy in the business out there. Lodo Drums. So Pete, he gets some gear from them, and then that gear is used. And I tried to replace some gear for him for free. He didn't accept that. So I was trying.
We're emailing him.
We're going to call and get in touch with him. One thing I do want to say though, just a side note about. What am I listening to? Oh,
it's got to be Doc.
Okay. Suze, yes?
Yeah, I called. No one answered, so I emailed the guy directly, the co-owner.
All right. Okay, people, 303
What were you going to say,
713 talk 713-8255. Just a side note with drums, okay? I used to love the ease of electronic drums because they had really great sound, but the action was never perfect, although, some of them tried. The Rolands and stuff. But I love the sound. But then I also love the feel of real drums. And the idea I got on YouTube was the hybrid thing. I have never been happier in my entire life. I will never play normal drums. Now, normal drums are what they call acoustic, of course, and you just bang on them, right? And they make a sound, and the shell has something to do with it. About the warmth of the sound or the loudness of the sound. And then the electronics are all electronics about triggers. The hybrid puts an electronic trigger on the special head of a real drum. And that head is a real head, but it's a bit softer and it absorbs, so it accommodates a trigger, it's called. So you have these sensors or triggers on the drums, and you can tune them perfectly based on You tighten all the heads the same, and then you adjust the sound based on the computer, and you can have perfect sounding drums with the perfect action of real drums. It's the most astounding thing I've ever had, and I will never play regular drums ever. It's
How about on the
amazing. Well, okay, that's something. What's really cool is if you are playing with people there, and the amps. Your drum comes out of the amp, your cymbals are loud enough to be heard, so you can just do that. You can do acoustic cymbals and hybrid, but you can get some triggers for the cymbals. I didn't. I actually had to muffle my cymbals a bit to make them equal to the electronics so they didn't overshadow them. So right now, I have a perfect thing. I have acoustic cymbals. I have acoustic drums that are now hybrid drums, so they have perfect sound. It's just the most extraordinary thing. They're so beautiful. And I love technology for that reason. And I wonder right now with guitars, if guitars, do they have the equivalent, because guitars always were electric, right? Electric guitars, I'm saying. But I'm wondering, do they have something that makes them even more electric, if that's a word, more accommodating to perfect tuning is what I'm saying. In other words, instead of having to tune it and treat it like a real guitar, if you have a guitar, and I'm not talking about fake guitar, I'm talking about a real guitar, yet perfect sound based on the triggers. I'm wondering if they have the equivalent of a hybrid guitar, basically. But anyway, let me know if you do play electronically. And if you have any problems, questions, or complaints, that's what we're here for. Next 15 minutes, 303-713-TALK.
Now,
he does talk.
Served by Whole Foods Market. From the Red Sports Traffic Center, northbound I-25, heavy from Bellevue to Yale.
I'm telling you, Mark, those hybrids are so perfect. Oh my God, they're beautiful. I would, you ought to come over one time and listen to them. Bring some people over who can play.
Plus several crashes off freeway, one on eastbound Colfax at
Then you could be in trouble and shoot a again.
Someone, I'll tell you, you know who plays it'll blow you away?
We would have fun.
I'll tell you someone. I'll tell you someone that can play the guitar better than you ever fucking could have. Mike Doyle. Next time he's in town, me and him will drive over when you're there.
Has he come to your house and played?
No.
Save on plant-based staples for
I've heard it from probably 5 people. He's one of the best they've done. He goes around playing bars every day.
Plus, Prime members save an extra 10%. Learn more on the Whole Foods Market app.
What? And he can sing.
Now, I am a patient of Colorado Pain Care, and I urge you to tune in to their webinar that's coming up. They're basically established to do one thing, deal with pain, no matter where the pain comes from. I am so happy with the results I'm getting. I'm already basically out of pain, but they're fine-tuning it to make it a permanent solution, and that's ColoradoPainCare.com. Now, they're having that webinar on June 11th at noon, so I want you to save that date and sign up by going to their website, and they have a QR code there you can do too. That's ColoradoPainCare.com, or just call them for pain or to find out more about the seminar, June 11th. 303-GOT-PAIN. Okay, another kind of pain that you never want is being charged with a criminal offense, or maybe even a serious traffic offense, and that's what happens with a DUI. Joe Lazzara can help you. Now, one thing is for sure, no one is going to encourage drinking and driving or breaking the law, but there are plenty of times that people make mistakes or are falsely accused, or whatever the issue. You need an attorney to deal with it. Let's face it, you can't do it on your own. Don't shop for an attorney when you're under pressure. I've done the shopping for you, Joe Lazzara. You can find Joe at referralist.com, Joe Lazzara, Lazzara, or call 303-429-6200. Free consultations always and flat rate pricing. 303-429-6200.
September 10th, 2001, one block from
Hey, Tom, we're home tonight.
security cameras captured
Yeah,
the
what's
live
happening?
images of Dr. Sneha and Philip
New songs.
The next day.
Oh, yeah, I will. I'm going to.
Pin that on your shirt.
What is it?
The new song.
Oh, man, are they asking?
Well, they will.
No, I'm going to do it tonight. I am.
What?
I canceled Adobe, by the way, so that's good.
You know, another good song for the thing. I think
Saturdays at 11 a.m.
It's not a bad one.
Learn how you can earn a full-time.
My favorite. I still like it. We're not gonna take
Oh, I like that too. The only thing is it's kind of long.
Ask a simple question and everyone know what matters to them. Work the angles. Question authority. Favor facts over conspiracies. And trust standards over here.
Lord have mercy on Dan's soul.
My soul. Does he have a soul? If you don't believe in God, do you believe in souls?
There's people that, I'm sure people believe in souls, but not God. You know, kinetic energy, where does it go? Where does energy go when you die? It's got to go somewhere. And I would call that a soul.
Yeah, but why is there energy? There is no energy. Once your cells stop functioning, there's no energy.
I don't think that's true.
That's how you die.
I don't think that's
the lack
true.
lack of energy in your cells.
I think you have energy that is you, and that energy goes somewhere when you die. So you can call that, maybe you would look at that as a religious statement. I never have.
Well, they've done that. So even weighing people. Wait, Mark, what energy is there? Tell me, when your cells stop functioning, how is there energy? There are no thoughts. Your brain cells aren't functioning anymore.
All right, look here, you atheist.
Yes. Proud of it. I am. I'm a fervent atheist. Is that?
I cover all bases. I don't practice any religion, but I got them all in my pocket enough to know if I end up in front of the big guy, I can talk my way in.
Well, would you put in a good word for me?
Yeah. By the way, that guy behind me.
He was dissing me his whole life.
I didn't diss him. I just think he doesn't exist.
That's kind of isn't that the normal diss? No.
Yeah, I'd say it is. I'd say that's one of the definitions of the street word diss. I'm dissing your philosophy.
Well, I have a tea time.
Where you playing?
Cherry Creek.
Oh, hey, bring in your marks. I got to start signing up for mark here. And I'd like to.
I'll give you the number right now.
Because I needed to get a physical before I do this.
303 36.
What do you need? You don't have your own doctor?
No.
Oh. Can't you use the guy that helped you transition?
I had the worst. She was a PA. The worst. Seriously, I could just talk to my mom and got more information from that doctor. But PA. Thank you.
You read that?
Yeah. Man, you got bad writing.
Oh, you should see. That's my good writing. Okay, boys. I will see you tomorrow.
Later, Gator.
Yeah. I'm gonna go practice my wedges for an extra half hour after the round.
Getting a wedge?
What?
Getting a wedge?
No, I'm going to practice my wedge shots because I want to beat the shit out of Mark on next Wednesday. And you too.
I won't you will.
All right, see you tomorrow, boys. See you tomorrow, sir.
See you, Doc.
Turn it down a little bit.
Do they still have that card?
Go.
That card to go service. Hey, Tom Martino here,
303-713-TALK, 713-8255. We only have a few minutes, but if you want to call, I promise you I'd squeeze you in. But let's recap some of these things going on. Remember the guy had a landscaping plan approved, and then neighbors put in sod. His yard gets some of their water, which is causing swampy conditions. That was a problem we got that I often hear about. And here's the deal. When you have landscaping and water is coming from another lot, you're often stuck with it. Because the way drainage works, people at the end of the line are the ones that pay for it, and it goes on down the line. Unless they did not landscape at all, and they had plain, because they're required to landscape within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, things like this can happen. But if they landscape properly and you're just getting water, that's kind of tough if they did not do anything to violate code. Also, more complaints about Action Appliance. Remember this. If you need appliance repairs, we've had nothing but trouble. Now, we haven't had as much trouble lately within the last, let's say, year as we did the last previous several years.
They assaulted me once.
Yeah. Anyway, Action Appliance, the guy basically never got a refund for money ordered, parts ordered, money up front. This is a very common complaint. Who do we have, Mark, that you love on our referral list?
ZZ's great, man.
And we also have Jensen Appliance. But anyway, that's good to know.
All kidding aside, literally, I went to serve them one time, and they were throwing stuff at me, man. Those people are no good, those Action Appliance. I don't know what their issue is.
Were you nice?
What?
Suzanne's asking if you're nice.
He doesn't have his headphones on.
Oh, I don't have my headphones.
Now, okay, he didn't hear it. Now, listen. This is something when a buyer's agent without a contract is buying a new home with a builder and a lender, who pays the commission? Here's the deal. If you don't have a contract with the buyer's agent, the builder is never going to pay. Also, the builder will never pay a commission if you don't mention it up front. It's very important that when you walk on that lot or in that subdivision or in that model, you say, I'm represented by a real estate agent who sent me, do you pay co-op? Now, they don't pay co-op. You have to talk about that. If you have an agreement technically with a buyer's broker, and they go to a builder who does not pay co-op, you are responsible to pay that unless they give you the
well, that's why you use Frank Duran, the real estate agent, because he never do that.
Right. Now, listen, as far as Sleeves Brigade, Ira Siegel, what is going on with Ira Siegel?
He's just bad. He's got to go on the Sleeves Brigade. He's the one that hired that PI to investigate you, Tom.
You're right. But Ira Siegel, Colorado Storm Solutions, he's based in Loveland. He has numerous complaints against him, numerous lawsuits, numerous kinds of problems. He's even on probation. The guy is bad news and will go on the sleaze brigade. Were we able to get a picture of this guy?
Yep.
Okay, good. I need to make sure.
We got a landscaper that needs to get up there too. I can't remember the guy's name, but George, this guy, he came on the air, promised he'd get out there and fix the stuff he didn't finish with this lady. Then he changed his phone number and basically had a friend call her and tell her, ha, I'm not coming.
Jackson's his name down in the Springs.
George
Beware.
Jackson.
Bad news.
Bad news.
You know, all of these are important. We keep records. So if you have a problem, you call us. We'll know we've heard from these people before. Now, here's the thing. In 2020, never mind. This is too late. We'll go into this problem. But whatever it is, remember this, folks. If you need help, information, or referral, first, you can always call and leave a message. We will get back to you at 303-MARTINO, 303-627-8466. And you can also go to referralist.com and, of course, find the people you need. And we'll be back here tomorrow. Remember, save all your problems for me.
Yeah, I was the one that PI and stuff they wanted you to call.
Yeah, his drunk buddy. If that guy was a PI, you had to be the worst.
I called him up again. I agree. I told him that. I called him back and said, did you hear from